Oh, Coach, they coming in now, Coach.
Yeah. I like that beat. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we about to get going, Coach.
All right. You are tuned in live to the HBCU Coaches Corner, hosted by none other than Johnnie Cole, and I'm Rocky, his trusty sidekick. We about to get into some real good conversation today, Coach. There's a lot of things happening. I thought we were in the offseason of HBCU football, but it seems like this thing never stopped. Me and you had planned to take a break for a few weeks, but we back at it, Coach. So before we get into any of this, how you doing, Coach?
I'm good, man. Everything's good. I had a great holiday, man. Got a little sick first part of the day, but was able to finish it real strong, man. Feeling live, man. I watched some great football this past weekend, and that gets my bones working in my mind. I take my pad out, Rocky, and I look at some of the plays that they run, and some of them I ask why.
Yeah, Coach. Coach, I'm gonna say this before we even get started, man. I just want to have this conversation with you, Coach. Last few days I've been trying to get in contact with you. You keep telling me you're gonna call me back. You're busy, and then when I ask you what's going on, man, you're so tight-lipped. Coach, is there anything you can tell me about what's going on with you? And that smile on your face is not for no reason, I know. So tell me something, Coach. Give me something, because I know you got some things working, and I just want to know what they are, Coach.
Well, I want to, you be the first to know, or our group be the first to know. I am in talk with some people, about some direction that they want to go and would like to bring me in as an offensive coordinator. I've already talked to, another school where things, we had a great time of talking. And, I want to thank Eddie Robinson and his staff. We had a great time talking and trying to see if we, both teams meet. So, unfortunately that didn't happen. But, a lot of it, Rocky, is about my choice, where I'm at in my life, things that I want. Do I want to coach again? Yes, I do. But I don't feel like I need to start over. I don't want to be sleeping in the coach's office. I don't want to be, making $30 or $40, $50,000 a year. That ain't what I want to do. So, I'm in constantly in negotiation. I'm not desperate. I do want to coach, but I am into some conversation with some people, and hopefully that it all comes together and it sounds good, looks good, and then we can make it work.
All right, Coach. I'm glad you were able to clear that up, Coach. I've been asking you all kind of conversations, and you ain't been able to be direct with me, but I understand now. You in negotiations and you talking over things with several different organizations or whatever, and so would you be willing to say, is it in the HBCU realm or is it outside HBCUs, or is there a combination, or what?
Yeah, well, it's in the HBCU realm, but sometimes you got to be silent, about it, because as you know, I'm no spring chicken. When I come through the door, everybody knows me. I can't come in with the mask on. They don't know my swag, or they gonna know my walk, or they gonna know my voice. And unfortunately, there's some people out there that got bad intentions. But I've passed the 50 state background check, and I'm working now in the school system. That I don't care to say, but I got a lot of positive things about me, a lot of positive things that people say. And if you want to win and coach, if you want a guy that can put some points up, some numbers up, coach, that's me. So again, as much as I want to coach, it's going to be my choice at the end of the day. And we talk about numbers and all that kind of thing. So, but I'm happy to say my phone is ringing.
Oh, well, Coach, let me ask you this. After being close, after being consumed by the game for probably 30 years, Coach, taking a slight break, and then coming, considering, because I'm not gonna make a decision for you at this point, considering coming back into the game, Coach, will you have is the game the same? Is the game different? Is there a different perspective that you have about coaching in general? Is your style gonna change, or what have you learned?
Well, the thing about it, really what I learned is that I was way ahead of before my time, and all they've done go from a regular formation with a tight end, two backs to the wide out to just spread everybody out. Blocking scheme's the same. You're still gonna have counter blocking. First man is kicking, second man is going up inside. You're still gonna have power blocking. You're still gonna have some lead blocking. It's basically all the same. You're gonna have some pass pro and some pass protection. And at the end of the day, sometimes it's about the Jimmys and Joes, and sometimes it's about the X's and O's. But I watched the game. I'm very in tune to the game. As you know, that I started refereeing high school games, so I'm on the field, and I'm actually seeing it and looking at things happen, and learning about refereeing the game. And then I got friends all over the country that I got huddle accounts. So I'm very close to the game. I mean, I got a book that I write down all the plays that I see when I'm watching on film. I've seen a couple new stuff, for instance, a guy motions look like he's going over. And in those times when I was there, he would just go past the center and then come right back. But I liked it when he go past the center and then he runs that behind motion back to it. I thought that was a nice touch. That's something new that I seen. And I get the kick out of it. But Coach, man, I mean, besides that, you still got to run and tackle, and play hard-nosed football. You know what I'm saying?
Coach, and last thing before we talk about this, before we end, talking about you, because we know it. Everybody want to get into. We got to talk about TSU, and we also got to definitely discuss the situation over at FAMU. But before we leave the conversation, talking about the opportunities that are presenting themselves to you and what you, just to say this, Coach, are you gonna bring back the hobo offense?
No doubt, Coach. That's and I think and I guess I can ask my fans, are y'all missing the hobo offense? Coach, we used to put them up, 38, 39 a game, Coach. Running the triple reverses, double passes, inside zone, throwing the flood route. I mean, it was just exciting, seeing kids run on the field and run off the field. I don't know if you even know that I'm the one is the reason for a referees making offenses get defense time to run their defense zone. I ran the no huddle offense back in the 90s, Coach. I actually played in the no huddle offense with Willie and Jerry Rice, and like I said, back in the 90s at Tennessee State, I would go no back, which is, if you don't know what no back is 5 wide receivers. Let's say we catch a pass down to the 5. We practice where we'll wait to 15 seconds left, and then I run my bigs on the field. So when you see me with 5, you run your dime package, then I wait to 15, and I run my big package on. Where I'm putting my extra tackle, my big boy in the back, and then you stuck out there with, 5, 6 defensive backs. Shit, we walk in the end zone. I'm the one done that, Coach. And but hey, it's just an exciting time for me and my family, and I just want to make sure that whoever or if we can come to terms about me coming to coach there, that things work itself out, because I'll come to win, Coach, and I ain't never lost nowhere.
Well, Coach, 2 things I'm glad to hear. First, I'm glad to hear that you're excited about the opportunities that are presenting itself. And I'm also glad to hear that it's in HBCU football, Coach. Because I think with the exodus of Willie Simmons, your level of innovation and coaching is something that, he brought a level of innovative offense to the table as well. He's moving on. And then, with you having the opportunity to come back in, you can kind of infuse it with some more offensive innovation as well. So, Coach, I'm just glad HBCU football,
and I want to take this time to thank the people who's ringing my phone, who I'm talking with, because they had to make some choices, and I just want to thank them and just kind of sitting and waiting for the right chance. So this give me an opportunity to thank them publicly. And hey, it's time for some hobo offense.
All right, Coach. With that being said, I'm not going to ask you anything specific about your alma mater and their opening, right?
Yeah.
But we have to discuss it.
Yes.
You're an insider. You're deeply entrenched with the Texas Southern fan base, alumni. Even you still have friends on the staff and in administration. What's going on over there, Coach?
Well, Coach, it's coming from the top now, and evidently, we had a communication breakdown somewhere, But let me say this as a Texas Southern graduate, because nobody can talk about Texas Southern unless you went to school there. To me, evidently, they are trying to make this choice the right choice, and I get that, and I think that's important. That the athletic director, the administration, the people in hand is saying this is a big choice for us. Am I in agreement of how it fell out and how it went back? No, but I'm a Texas Southern guy. I believe in our administration. Whatever they had to do it for a reason. It's not for me to question. It's not for me to say it's wrong. I've been in the business. They on a time clock. I understand about the recruiting part of it, but I understand also too that I've been in that seat. And in the 1AA program, you ain't got to rush to start talking about recruiting. You ain't got to rush. You know what I mean? I think they still got a window. Is that window closing for some opportunities for some good players? Yes. That's why it's important that who they get in there can open them windows back up. It's a different process, Coach. But I'm glad that they were able to come to terms and relook at things. I feel for Fred McNair, being a former coach myself. And you don't know, they might come back to him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that part of it, but I know the general part of it that this new board that we got is really, really into trying to do things right by Texas Southern University.
Yeah, Coach, it's for a guy who's not familiar with the business of HBCU hiring and firing, this seems like a really unorganized situation, to have a coach that have the coach selected. What goes back, if you go look at our show 5 weeks ago, Coach, you were able to announce that the job was Fred McNair's if he wanted. You knew that. And with you being, outside the program, it was certain that people inside the program knew that Fred McNair was the guy too. And to get to the finish line of consummating the contract and for the board to have dissension to the point to where they actually put a pause. And I think they're at the brink of reopening the position back up. There has to be some disorganization or some lack of communication going on. Because again, I say, Coach, you mentioned this. If you mentioned it on the show 5 weeks ago, you knew it probably sooner than that, right?
Right.
You don't hold a official position with the program, but there are a lot of TSU fans that watch this program, so they knew Fred McNair was coming. And to get to this point and decide that they want to a do-over, what do you think influences a decision like that?
Well, let me say this to you. You know, all that on the outside and fanfare and the Christmas tree and got lights and this is the way you put the lights on and all that. You know, all that sounds good. You know, but I always been a guy that's saying whatever looks right, you know, whatever smells right might not be right. Are we more interested in being right or getting it right? And I think in this case, you know, and hopefully at the end that we're getting it right. And I just got to believe in the administration that they're getting it right. They don't want to be right by everybody. They want to get it right. You know, and our AD, Kevin Granger, you know, he's a part of it as well. You know, maybe there was a step he missed, you know, but like, as again, being an alumnus of the university, I got to believe in the university is trying to get it right. And besides, Coach, hell, they didn't choose me, man.
Hey, Coach.
Hey,
now
hey,
I didn't want to put you. I didn't want to put you on the spot, but
hey, the only one in the history.
Again, that's a great point, Coach Cole. Is that, you know, I didn't want to put you out there. Is your being considered a coincidence with this whole thing being held up? I won't ask you that question directly, but people can surmise whatever they want. Is that you're still available? The only SWAC championship coach TSU's ever had, and
again, that's all good, Rocky. And then hit your money machine. Yeah. All that's so true, Coach. All that is.
Yeah, Coach. I mean, at the end of the day, you're the only one to bring in championships, Coach, and that's what like one of the things about when I talk to you all the time, you accept winning as an accomplishment, right? But your standard, your individual standard, is championships, right? Winning is okay, but championships is the standard that you set for yourself, and that's a pretty lofty, high standard to go to a school like when you went to TSU. Let's just talk about this, Coach. What kind of condition was the program in when you went to TSU back in 2007? I believe you arrived there.
The program was horrible. It was 4-40. It only had like 44 scholarships. They hadn't won a game. I was taking over from a 0-11 football season. The only winning season they had was like in '89, something like that. We was terrible. We were at the bottom, you know, in FCS, and you know, the kids they had. But winning championship is just a quarter of my philosophy and what I want. You know, the other half, that's a quarter of the championship. But if I'm not graduating kids, which I have everywhere I've been, you know, at Tennessee State, we had a 94% graduation rate. Alabama State, we had a 95% graduation. Lane College, the same thing. And then, of course, at Texas Southern, my football program was the only program in the 10 years since they started the APR, which is the graduation rate, that we as a school made those numbers. And those kids went on to graduate even after I had left. So those are big accomplishments as well, because I am a scholar athlete. You know, I have my master's in education, undergrad in civil engineering. You know, I'm certified to teach K through 12. My children went to Texas Southern. One graduated with her master's, you know, in administration. And you know, I got my other daughter's graduating in May. So, you know, I come from an educational background, and I believe in that. You know, and all that to me entwines to a good football program. You know, that you got to have. And I'm, you know, I think I'm a teenage changer. You know, I changed young African American men's way of doing things. and they buy in. They buy into that. And one of the other biggest things is I galvanized the alumni, at Texas Southern. They never came back. They always, had an excuse here, but they know they couldn't give me that excuse because I walked that walk. I walked down Tiger Walk. So I was able to reach out and get monies. We were big crowds at the stadiums. So that makes money. Season tickets was at an all-time high. Enrollment was an all-time high. I had coaching. I had Texas Southern University guys, former players on my staff as well. I had former Texas Southern graduates, kids play for me, on my team. So it was a whole Texas Southern University effort to get us back to, and I shouldn't say get us back because, Rocky, we're a perennial losing program. Texas Southern is probably, since I've been there in 1981 and even before that, might have had 5 winning seasons. And I got 2 of those with a championship. So yeah, we're a perennial losing program.
And Coach, you just, when you talk about 81, we're here in 2024 now, Coach.
Yeah.
That spans a time of, over 32 years by my count, Coach. And you're talking about 5 winning seasons?
Something like 5, 6 winning seasons, Coach.
And 1 championship season for which you were the head coach of that particular program.
Yes. Can you imagine how the alumni felt being able to put their T-shirt on? Coach, and here's the crazy part, right? I was the only winning football program in the city of Houston. The Texas was losing, Rice was losing, A&M was losing. I was the only winning program in the city. Can you imagine? It was on fire. I'll tell you a little story. We pulling up to play Grambling. Grambling is 7-0. We 6-1. We got to beat Grambling to go to the championship game. Coach, when we pulled up, man, it was a line wrapped around the stadium just to get in. Man, a tear came to my eye because I played at the university. You know what I mean? And we used to play at Jefferson Stadium, which was right down the street, 2 blocks down the street from the college. And I remember times and times, because I didn't play my first 3 years, times that I would walk back. I wouldn't get on the team bus. I would walk back and just tell myself that one day I'm going to turn this around. One day they're going to give me an opportunity to play. And when they finally gave me an opportunity to play, I broke every passing record in the school in 1 year, seasonal record. And I just remember those days. And see, then I played basketball as well, And so my parents couldn't fly me home for a week during Christmas break. Then the president, H.O. Spearman, and Big John and some alumni, they would keep me on campus and make sure that I'm taken care of. And I'd be the only one. You see that movie with, what's my man that slapped the guy called Our Legends?
No, I haven't seen that movie, Coach.
And Will Smith in Our Legends. And he was the only one in the city.
I think I'm familiar with the movie I Am Legend.
Yeah, I Am Legend. And I used to be on campus and walk down and screaming down there, hey! So the thing about being at black colleges, we talk about the celebrities, and I know you do, and I know I'll kind of fight against it because I know different. You got to want to be there, Coach. You got to have some skin in the game to get them programs going because it's just so much happening in the city of Houston. You got to want to be there. You got to want to put in 24/7 a day. I don't care. You come there with a dump full of money and empty it right there in the damn maroon and gray street, and we can throw up all these buildings, man. But if ain't nobody in them buildings to gather these kids, man, and make sure they understand that it's been some great people walk through here. You're gonna keep on getting to doing the same thing. It's insanity,
Hey, we got one of our, first off, Coach, we got a couple questions I want to ask you that came from the comments. We got, would you go back to coach?
Under the right circumstances. Now that I seen when I went back to Texas Southern at the wrong time. You know, I went back and I got the job before there was a president in place and before there was an athletic director in place. And all those guys came behind me. And I think my demise wasn't that they had some against me, because I started this off, I respect administration. It was just they didn't like my style, you know, my swag, my style, or how I went about doing things, you know. So, you know, and I made some mistakes, you know, I'll be the first to say it. But you know, again, I told you earlier too, I could pass any background check in the world, Craig, in the world.
Hey, Coach, we got a couple other comments. We got come to A&M. So that's an offer right there, Coach.
Yeah.
We got this gentleman asked, or I don't know if it's a gentleman or a lady, but I'll read it. It says, Rocky, you asked the TSU AD why Coach Cole was not considered for the vacant job. We cannot accept that he's not qualified. No, I have not. I have not talked to Mr. Granger or Dr. Granger about Coach Cole's prospects. You know, one of the things, you know, I think that these kind of selections, these high profile selections of head coaches and things of that nature, I honestly believe there should be some transparency, but I also believe that those administrators who are hired to make those decisions should be given the space and time to make the right decision, right? And because at the end of the day, right, I could want Coach Cole, you could want Coach Cole, but Dr. Granger and Coach Cole have to work together. And so they have to sit down and see eye to eye about what their philosophies are regarding winning, regarding what's going to be the mission of the university. There's so many other things you have to consider, not just we want Coach Cole, because again, Coach Cole is going to have to work with Dr. Granger and the administration, and and that's something that Dr. Granger would need to really look into before he would make a decision to hire Coach Cole.
Yeah, that's why I said earlier about when I go back to Texas Southern or any school for this matter, that I would like for the AD to be in place, to choose me, the president in place to choose me. Then that way, they're not looking for things that happen in your program, but to help correct things in your program. And that's big, Coach. And when you look at the HBCU, coaching wise, it's a lot different from when I came through. The coaches was the leader of the campus. Your Eddie Robinsons, your W.C. Gordons, your Marino Castles. These guys was Otis Washington. These guys was big men on campus. You know what I'm saying? And they had a lot of freedom to do what they need to do to put a good product on the field.
Yeah. I think football is big business now, Coach.
Oh yeah.
And some of the concerns that Coach Chasm and Coach Robinson coached under, and some of the other greats, W.C. Gordon and Billy Joe, they didn't have the same pressures that exist now, I don't believe. Like, right. Coach, we're in a situation now that Willie Simmons has left his position voluntarily. That since I've been watching the SWAC the last 4 years, Coach, every coach has been replaced. Think about that, Coach. In just 4 short years, it's really less than 4 years, because I started really watching in spring of 2021. And now we're approaching, it's the winter. I mean, it's early 2024. And we're talking every coach has been replaced in the SWAC, Coach. Does that sound peculiar to you, or does that seem peculiar to you in a 4-year span that every coach has been replaced or will be replaced?
But that ought to say something about our league. We've turned into a copycat league. Back again when I was coming through, and I know it's different time, but coaches stayed. You know why they stayed, Coach? Because they won. They won. So look at our conference. Dion come through, win, he gone. I was disqualified. Simmons won, he's dead. Fred McNair won. All the rest of them is passing through, coach. You know what I'm saying? And we still trying to figure it out. So what does that tell me? Or what that should tell somebody that's making a selection? Man, we gotta go get us a winning football coach. And in 3 years, he should be showing us that he's winning. You see what I'm saying? And if he's not winning, coach, and then I gotta see some academics, I gotta see some fundraising, I gotta see something to say that this is a guy that's taking our program where it needs to be taken.
Now you are correct. EGLG corrected me. Is that Coach Maynard has not been replaced? You are correct. I stand corrected on that. Right. However, you know, to that point, there's been several positions that are on their third coach since I've been watching. When you look at Southern, they're on their third coach.
Right.
Grambling, they're on their third coach. You know,
and that's unlike Grambling, coach. That's unlike Grambling. You know what I mean? Grambling don't do that. You know what I mean? And you know, they hired Doug Williams after Eddie Robinson. Doug winning. You know, won national championship. They passed it on to Melvin Spears, won national championship. Passed it on to Fobbs, won championship. Then now we jumping around. You know what I'm saying?
And they went outside the family, so to speak, coach.
Yes, they sure did.
And so you know, we could go ahead and start discussing this, coach, but I think this is a layered conversation that we're having, because first off, I want to ask you this, coach. What was your thoughts when you heard that Willie Simmons was considering accepting the running back position at Duke?
I was excited, coach. I was excited for him and his family because he deserves it. You know, I'm being in this business, and this is a tough business. And loyalty only comes when you're winning and you're on the right side of politics, where you are. You could be winning and being on the wrong side of politics, and they'll get you out of there and put something on you, like some mojo on you. But Willie Simmons is getting out at the right time. You know, it's nothing else he can do there. So it's time to start paying dividends. In his contract, his incentives was this, that, you know, win the championship, blah, blah. But then the fine line was if we had the money for it. That come on, man. You know, but lawyers can move on, presidents can move on for more money, you know, teachers can move on for more money, but a coach got to stay where he at, you know, and please the fan. But that same fan that's cheering for him at 12-1, when he go 1-12, that same fan is at the U-Haul place getting a truck to park in front of his house. But go ahead.
So coach, what do you, okay, so I got my own, you know, thought about this, right? Because I'm an outsider coach. I'm somebody who didn't go to HBCU, though my daughter is attending Prairie View and doing quite well, might I add.
Yeah, I finally got the right thing, you and Keisha. But go ahead.
Oh, Keisha went to HBCU. She went to Alabama A&M, so she.
Yeah, I know. She went to that country school.
Yeah. So my point was, coach, is that people speak as if Willie Simmons going to Duke as if he's taking the white man's money. He's turning his way from his own people to go take the white man's money.
Hallelujah. Praise God.
Now, you spoke about this in a fashion of as if this is an elevation in some regard.
Ain't no
and
doubt.
me as a football fan, now you got to understand, I'm a football fan. I'm not a coach, right? I'm an armchair quarterback, as you always call me, coach. As an armchair quarterback, I go, how can you go from the head coach at FAMU Black national champion, SWAC champion, a conference record of like 33-5 over his tenure at FAMU. In the SWAC, 23-2, 24-2, whatever. How can you go from all that, coach, to being a running back coach, and that's considered an upgrade? Explain that to me. Explain it to me as if I was a fourth grader coach.
Okay. All right. Here we go. History tells us that back in the 60s, early 70s, blacks had to go to black schools and play for blacks, to be coached by blacks. There wasn't even black coaches, just in the 70s, coach. All right. We get to the 80s. How many games did Eddie Robinson win? He was the first
400.
400. Where he in his career, coach? Grammy. Marino Castle, 300 wins. Where he in his career at? Southern University. Jay Gaithers, 300 winner. Where he in his college career? There. L.C. Cole, first coach to ever win an all-white conference, 2 years back-to-back. Finished number 1 in the country. Where's he at? Clark University. And he's a guy that's what black folk done to him. Black folk don't keep L.C. Cole down. L.C. Cole used to coach in PWI school, and he was moving. He had been to college after college after college and decided, let me go down to give me an opportunity to be a head coach, okay? He get the opportunity, he wins championships, and all he has is politic problems.
So let me slow it down right quick, coach, because you didn't jump on it. So the loyalty that existed in previous generations, what you're alleging was not loyalty, it was a lack of opportunity, is what you're saying.
Both. If you won, we were loyal to you, okay? But the opportunity definitely wasn't there.
Okay.
And guess what? It still ain't there. So I'm gonna ask you, sis, and this happened in your era.
Okay.
It's been 2 African-American coaches that left a black college and got a PWI job. It's only been 2.
I know it's the guy at A&T.
Who?
I thought one of the A&T coaches left Washington or somebody, and he left. And
no, it was South Carolina State. He went to Wichita State. Willie Jeffries.
Willie Jeffries.
That was back in the 70s.
Okay.
And Deion Sanders. Now, the other guy was a white guy, which I don't count. He was at Alcorn State. I don't know, for some reason, I can't.
Jay Hobson.
Jay Hobson, exactly, Jay Hobson. He's the third guy. So it ain't happening. When me and my brother was at Tennessee State, and we went to talk with the SEC commissioner, and I can't call his name now. He's not there anymore.
Is it Slide? It wasn't Slide, was it?
No, it was in the 90s.
Okay.
I'll look back on it. And we was in his office. And we were talking, and he knew about us, numbers we putting up, what we doing over there, yada, yada, yada. And he flat told us, you will never get a big PWI job. You might have to leave there to a smaller PWI school to be able to move up to where y'all want to go. Now, the coaches previous LC Cole, like John Groove, my memories is going. They would win OVC, coach, and then they would get a Boise State. You know what I mean? They would get a Bowling Green, a Kent State, some MAC school. We win OVC back to back, coach. You know what we got? A trip to Alabama State. And since then, all the championships Doug won, Melvin Spears, Rick Comagee, you know what I mean? Fred McNair, Rod Broadway,
Broderick Fobbs.
Ain't nobody ringing no phone, coach. Jenkins, I forgot Brian Jenkins down at Bethune-Cookman. Shit, he won 4-5 championships. He got one interview at a PWI school. So back to Willie Simmons. Man, you got to go. If that's your dream, for one, you deserve it. Two, if they're gonna make your life much better with the pay, I'm getting $500,000, coach. Do the math, somebody. Shit, $500, $50,000 in 10 years. That's 500,000, something like that. Come on, coach. I mean, that's a lot of jack. All right, a month. All right, he getting a car. The facilities is off the chain. You know, keys, private jet if he needs the private jet. He get a car when he get there. He get a housing lounge. And of course, the facilities is unbelievable. And everybody around there is about football. The janitor, the secretary. I've been there. I coached at the University of Cincinnati. They are there to win football. Everybody is on the same key and the same page. Ain't nobody pulling no punches or getting out of line. I'm sorry.
So coach, he's out there pursuing his dream.
Yes.
His dream to coach at the highest level, to be a Power 5 football coach.
He will not get it being the head coach at Florida A&M. And let me say this too, before I lose my train of thought. This is what I asked Willie Simmons, and this was when I talked to African American coaches on that level. Bring somebody with you. Invite somebody up. You make $500,000 now. Bring your 2-3 coaches up. Put them in a hotel for a week. Let them shadow. Come in, get to meet the white guys. I tell you, Lou Holtz. You know Lou Holtz? Remember Lou Holtz?
Absolutely.
Coach at Notre Dame, one of the winningest coaches. I remember he came to a BCA meeting and said, "Let me tell y'all something in here. We're all black guys. Ain't nobody in here gonna get somebody a job on the PWI level. So start going out, mingling with these guys." He said, "Here's the other thing. A head coach is gonna have 9 coaches. Out of them 9 coaches, by the end of the year, he gonna find out that he only giving 4 of them responsibilities, major responsibilities, because those 4 want to become coordinators and head coaches." But he told us back then, you know, about ain't none of y'all in here go get nobody no head job. Coach, and that lives to be true. You know, I've done everything that they've said done about a black college, right? But that put me in the minority around black coaches. I cut my hair. I'm well dressed. I'm well spoken. I've been to clinics. I've been successful on the football field. But this is our thinking. When I come around, oh man, he's chasing, man. You know, he's chasing. He you know, he don't act like us. His swag is different. And I'm saying that Willie Simmons needs to go while he can go, so he don't run into the same old thing. Because I guarantee you, if Willie Simmons turn 1 and 12, them same people holler, "Don't go," I'll be ready to kick him out to death.
Hey, you say you mean they would actually run Willie shotgun Simmons out of Tallahassee for losing?
They give him gas. They say, "Can I fill your tank up just to get the heck out of here, man?" Them, you know, they like that. I mean, fans are like that. I've seen it, Coach.
What would you say to the FAMU alumni, FAMU loyalists, Tallahassee community, to say to Willie, he say, "Willie, you can build something special here. You can do something here, Willie, that's never been done in the history of black college football. You can build a juggernaut with the location and proximity to elite talent."
Do you know that FAMU is the only black school to win a national title in the FCS? Did you know that?
Yes, I did. 1978, if I'm not mistaken.
Coach Rudy won it. And what you should have done and could have done was put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is. If you don't put your money where your mouth is, you know, all you guys doing is being selfish. Some of you guys that don't is not pushing him and urging him on. You know, once again, my thing, Rocky, is for the mass. Willie, when you get up there and get an opportunity and a position open on Duke staff, ask the head man, hey, can we bring another African American along? Each one teach one, each one bring one. And Coach, as we get more people up there, then it would be an even playing field.
Hey, Coach Cole, we got a very special guest.
Okay.
And again, I'm gonna do something I usually don't do. I'm gonna play some copyrighted music because this is it's just meaningful. Oh, the reason why I'm playing that is if y'all don't know, that's Willie Simmons' theme song right there. That's his hype song, and I brought in none other than the Bishop himself.
Coach Cole, Bishop Happy Campbell. New Year. How are you doing?
Man, look, boy, I'm blessed, man. I woke up and it didn't rain on me. Walked out to my car, and I had a job to go to, Coach. And my honey kissed me before I left. But that's all I need, Coach.
Well, that's it. Now, Coach, I'm going to tell you, you were talking about the SEC commissioner. I believe you were talking about Roy Kramer, who was the commissioner during that time. Yeah, and what was interesting about Roy Kramer, he was one of the first people that broached Ole Miss about, hey, y'all need to stop waving that rebel flag. You're messing with our money. So he was kind of actually a forward-thinking white guy. As you got, he probably behind closed door, he probably told you a lot of things that he wanted to change. And then the next guy that came by, because it wasn't Sly, it was the guy from Vanderbilt, and his name will come to me in a second, that took over after Kramer and stuff like that. But anyway, I just wanted to say that's who that was, because when you said, I knew exactly what you was talking about.
You're exactly right, man. I mean, you know, because we wanted to make some moves, man. We felt that after we won that second championship at Tennessee State, man, we ready for one of them PWIs to give us a call. We ready to rock and roll. You know what I mean? And it never came. And then, you know, we stayed Black College, and here come all this mess, man. It's just mess for over 20 years. And today, me and my brother, really at the end of the day, is blackballed from the HBCU.
Right.
Now, Steve, you don't look like you've been crying. I don't see any tears in your eyes. I don't see a lot of mean tweets coming from your ex account. Just tell me how to, at this point, 2 years ago, it was about to be a riot, and they were going to march all the way to Colorado and cause an uprising because that other guy left Jackson State. You guys are being what I would consider rather dignified, pragmatic, respectful. I've seen nothing but gratitude expressed toward Coach Simmons. Is that a FAMU thing or what's going on? Can you explain what's going on?
Well, okay. So let me do the jokes first, and then I'm gonna be serious for a second. The joke part of it is there's a reason why we brag different. See, we don't let nobody shake us. You're not gonna see us having these mass meetings, and it's gonna be all right videos, and the Mississippi Mass Choir and the preachers coming out on Lynch Street with the doors open. It's not none of that's gonna be. We don't roll like that. So that brag different is something that's really serious. People don't understand that. That's a real thing. We were talking noise when we were 1-10. That's how we move. So if you think that we're going to give anybody, especially Jack State people, the attention that they want, that we're going to be doing like they did, no, it's not going to happen. So now here's the serious part. When Deion went out, first of all, let's talk about a couple of Deion disrespected Jackson State. Totally. He disrespected Jackson State. His family disrespected Jackson State. He let the white people disrespect Jackson State. So what are Jackson State people supposed to feel like? You believed in this man. This man said he was coming in for a mission, and then he loses 2 Celebration Bowls. And both of them, it was clear that he wasn't focused, especially the last one. So what does Willie do? Willie, let's play this timeline out. Let's say Willie knew he was going to do, right? He knew before the Celebration Bowl. You didn't hear anything about it. You didn't hear him talking about jumping on a plane after the SWAC championship, going up to Durham, talking about I'm bringing luggage, and this Louis. He stayed focused to the cause. So by him staying focused to the cause, he actually won a championship, right? You can't be mad at him. He actually won a championship. So if he looks at other opportunities, and then what does he do? He quietly goes about his business. He lets the players know, hey, I have an opportunity. He goes to the alumni, and this is where the thing, you got different stories, match or not match. But the bottom line is when he said, finally, I'm leaving, he sat out as a man and said, let me tell you why I'm leaving. And this is why FAMU people were cool with this. Because he said, listen, I have accomplished what I need to accomplish at FAMU. We got them back on track, but my goal is to be a Power 5 coach. Well, guess what? You can't be a Power 5 coach at FAMU.
No.
You can't. So if you sit back and explain to me what your goals are and you're honest with me, unlike Deion was not honest to Jackson State people. Deion came and said, we're coming to change the game, and we're going to do this. Instead of him saying, hey, listen, I want to be here, then I want to go to Power 5. Which we all knew. Coach, we all knew the reality people. But you got to understand something. People from Jackson have a lot of pride. And let me tell you something about people from Jackson and Mississippi. You don't care about nothing white down there. You believe black people can do what they can do. So if somebody comes and tells you that everything has been preached because you're not going to get any help from the white power structure, and you get this mythical figure that comes in and says, we're going to do these things, and you actually bring the number one recruit in, you got all this TV stuff, you say, man, we could really change the game. And then you go and you take that all away, then that's why they feel like this. I'm not mad at that. I'm from Jackson. I was mad. I was upset because I didn't like the way he did it. Because, first of all, he didn't even tell those people thank you. He jumped on a plane, Rocket. They won the SWAC championship, and that man was so quick that he couldn't even raise the trophy because he was so ready to get on a plane. Okay? So that's it. So that's the reason why. But no, FAMU people, I'm just telling Jackson, y'all can post all the memes, all the time. Y'all look foolish because I'm gonna tell you, here's the joke I'm gonna tell y'all. Y'all can say your coach left and our coach left, but when our coach left, he left with a championship.
See, the same thing happened to Jackson State back in the late '90s when Carson left, and then they got away in harder clock named Coach Bell from the outside. That's when that program sunk down. Then they went and got Comegy. Comegy took him to 4 championships, Rocky. He won 1, and they got rid of him. And then they brought another PWI guy in there. 2, and then they brought an old guy in there. They said Harold Jackson.
Yeah, Harold Jackson. Yeah, that was it.
Who in the hell knew Harold Jackson, who played in the early 70s, coach? That program went straight to the bottom. Straight to the bottom. So, we can't. And I tell you, Eddie Robinson said this on a SWAC tour. You know about the SWAC tour, Mr. Campbell.
Yep.
All the coaches and players.
All the coaches went on. Yep.
We tried, and he said, "What's going to happen to this conference is when we start putting people in control that don't know what to do, and that's what's happening to us, coach. And I don't mean to down anybody, man, but we like I said, Campbell, last 20 championship coaching from 1990, from 2000 to now are on the shelf. They're not even coaching nowhere, just about. 90% of them is on the shelf. And that ain't how you build. You don't have nobody to teach. If all your good shepherds are gone, you out there with boys trying to run the flock.
Well, Coach, this is the thing I told somebody. If you went, like, compared to the SEC or the Big Ten, and I said, hey, Coach Cole, tell me what defensive coordinator you would say could be the next head coach. What offensive OC could you say? It would be hard. You might be able to think about it, but you couldn't just rattle it off. And we're not, to your point, we're not starting these guys and setting them up where we can see the next great coach coming up, where we're preparing the OCs and the DCs and things like that, because we're moving so fast and we're going on these waves and things like that. Instead of saying, you know what?
What the media says.
What the media says. Instead of building these guys up, giving them room to grow, understanding that we're not the SEC, we're not the Big Ten, and you're going to have to take some lumps, and you're going to have to let these young coaches grow into these positions
and stop
and be because
yeah. But I mean, look at Nick Saban. How many careers he don't resurrected, coach? Shit, in the top 10, what? Georgia, A&M, Texas. He just hired
Ole Miss,
linebacker coach. Yeah, Ole Miss.
Loxley and Maryland.
Coach. that was still in the signal scandal. He just hired that guy.
Well, again, you got to understand. I come from outside, paying close attention for 30, 40 years of my life to NCAA college football. And one thing I understood about them, it was always about winning for some schools. I'll say some schools.
Or coach, and I don't mean or a good coach, because something has happened in his career. Is he a good coach? You know what I mean? Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, it's always about winning, right?
Right.
And however, the more you win, the more the fan base takes winning for granted, in my opinion, a lot of times, right? Okay, and so what you have is when you win, you win big. The fan base takes winning for granted, and they don't have the patience for a guy who built them up to winning, right? And then I'll bring up a guy, Art Briles, who really brought Baylor to prominence of being a national power, right? He goes through a situation, right, that the entire school is exposed, not just the football team. It makes them so uncomfortable, they decide to get rid of him, right? And for the most part, they've been reeling ever since, right? And I know this, coach, if it's one thing I know, winning football coaches, if you're not at University of Texas or Texas A&M or Oklahoma, they hard to find. I don't know why those programs can find them, but at other schools, winning coaches are really hard to find.
Well, Oklahoma State though kept Mike for what he been there like now, 24, 25 years.
Yeah, Gundy's been there. Yeah, Gundy's been there for over 20 years, and they know to keep him.
Saban has made his own choice. You know what I mean? Dembo at Clemson. And these guys are in the championship every year. Coaches, look at all the ages of all the championship coaches, or the coaches is in the top. All of them are 55, 60, 65, going on 70. They've been around, coach. They've been around. And we turn it over in the SWAC. That you just was talking earlier about how many coaches they don't ran through.
What I was trying to move to is that those PWIs though relinquish the profile of the school to the head football coach. They do that as a means to continue to fundraise, build facilities, do all those things to make their colleges better. They defer to Saban as the face of the university, right? For whatever reason, right? I don't see where HBCU organizations embrace that as this coach being the face of their program, the way that PWIs have, my entire life for the most part.
Coach, let me respond to that, and I know you got something on this. Well, see, Rocky, here's the thing. Like I say, I'm a big college football fan, and Coach is going to understand this. Alabama wasn't always like that, because they had Stallings, they had Shula, they had the other guy that went to the Orange Bowl. Ray Perkins. They had the guy that
they fired Ray Perkins on the 10 in 1 year.
Yeah, Franchoni. So you got to understand, I just named 5 coaches just right then and there. So it's not always like that, because again, what happens is you get see, first of all, programs like Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, USC, first of all, they have the infrastructure to always be great. See, that's what we're talking about. They have a set infrastructure that all you need to do is find the right coach, and then it keeps rolling. Alabama's always had the infrastructure to be great. Ohio State, Michigan, LSU, even that's why people in Florida are like, oh, wait a minute. This is not, because we have the infrastructure to be great. Clemson. So when you start talking about these legacy programs, that's what happens. Now, with the HBCUs, when you start talking about our blue blood programs, the Jackson States, the Florida A&Ms, the Grambling, the Southerns, it was the force of will by the men that led those programs, not the infrastructure.
Right.
Because Eddie Robinson created the infrastructure. W.C. Gordon created the infrastructure. Marino Castle created the infrastructure. Jake Gaither created the infrastructure. Rudy Hubbard created the infrastructure. So that was the difference, because the infrastructure was always weak and never, ever put together correctly, because we always had to do patchwork, right? Coach knows this. As great as Texas Southern was, it was Coach Cole that had to put the infrastructure together. He had to teach class. He had to line the field. That doesn't happen at schools that have the infrastructure. So it's the man, the person, that does that. Right. And the difference. So that's the difference.
When you get that person, you got to make sure that you cultivate him with the university. You don't push him out the door because he's different. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we have done, and that's what we're getting to. You know what I mean? It ain't that. I always tell you, Rocky, it's only about 25% of coaches that are winners. That's other 75, they're gonna fly through the night, coach. It's just like that. Everybody is just not a winner. But when you get one, you need to hold on to them and give them what they want. Simmons is a guy. You know what I mean? Don't play with him. Simmons is a guy that, but like you said earlier, his goal is to be able to get a job at a Division I major school. And he ain't going to get it, like you said earlier, at Florida A&M. He could win 5 national championships, 10. He ain't going to get one. He going to have to take the same route, assistant job somewhere.
So how can you guys who are deeply entrenched in HBCU culture, right, have the understanding that his goals are to be a Power 5 coach, and in order to do that, he has to take a different path at this point in his life? Why are some of the HBCU loyalists consider this a move of a sellout or him going to Duke because Whitey's ice is colder? Or how can a running back position be a running back coach be an upgrade from a head coaching job at an HBCU? You know, how does all of those ideas come about when you guys are loyalists and you guys clearly don't have that same opinion?
I'm gonna let the bishop answer that, because that's a people's thing.
Well, here's the thing. So here's where the heart leads before the head, right? So you see, we know how great Coach Simmons is. Coach Cole knows how great he is, right? So, and I'm talking face value at first, okay? Because Coach Cole knows the deepness and the thing about it. But if you tell me I have a great coach and the best you can offer him is the running back coach position, and then we talking face value, and then you go do what I do and go look and see who the OC is, and you know my guy has a better resume than this guy who has never even been an OC, okay? So then I get upset to say, you know what, treat my guy fairly. Treat my guy fairly. If you're not going to treat my guy fairly, let us keep my guy. Because if you're not going to give my guy, and this is where the emotion comes in at, right? Because I can look at this guy, and I wanted to see who was the guy that Manny Diaz thought that was a better guy than Coach Simmons. Okay, Rocky, do you understand this guy that's going to be the OC at Duke was a quality control system in just 2021?
Yeah.
Okay? A quality control system. If you go look at his resume, he wasn't even a real OC at Southern Methodist. Okay? The white man gave him a title just so it could look good on a resume, because he was the co-OC. He wasn't even calling the plays. So you're going to tell me as a black, now see, this is where the black man part comes in at. You're going to tell me that my guy who has won championships, my guy who has now done 2 programs and turned them around from a head coaching position can't be your OC? That's what we get upset about. But Coach Cole understands this. But see, now this part with being black, and the black tax happens. The only way, unfortunately, Willie's got to go to get to that route, he got to take the lowest step on the rung. While the white boy from Southern Methodist is already on rung 3, and the ladder's already put up for him. Because if I did a blind taste test and I showed you both of their resumes, right? And this is not me. If you looked at both of their resumes, it's not even close who would be the better coach.
No, I mean, there's no And again, I would say this is Manny Diaz hedging his bets. If I just look at it on face value. If I look at a guy who was your quality control coach when you were at Miami, where you got fired from, right? And then he went to SMU to be co-OC, right? And then you bring him back to Duke with you as the OC, and then you hire a guy who is a offensive wizard as the running back coach. You hedging your bets.
Well, see, and I'm gonna say this because again, these shows go all over. I'm going to make the disclaimer. This is Steve Campbell talking. Coach Simmons did what's best for his family. Okay, so I want to be clear on that. I support what Coach Simmons, because I'm not Coach Simmons. I'm not his wife nor his kids. So my opinion means nothing. I want to really say that really clearly. But my thing is, what makes me upset is that I have seen this constantly, where a coach that has the qualification that Coach Simmons has gets passed over for this job that he should have gotten. That bothers me. That is the thing that we say. So then let's go to the part where the FAMU people say, well, and again, just looking at it on face value. Well, hell, if you're only going to be a running backs coach and they're going to pay you $500,000, well, hell, that's light work for us. We'll bring it $200,000 in 2 hours, which is basically what we basically did. To say, if it's the money, we'll make sure the money is right, because that's usually what happens. Well, they don't pay me enough and whatever. Well, that was never a case. So that was great what we did, because I think what FAMU wanted to show was, you know what? If we got somebody that is worth the money, we have the money to pay them. Because this is what this is going to start coming down to.
But Bishop, let me say this to you. Why does it take to pay a winning? Simmons been great when he came in. True?
Absolutely.
Then why wait? At HBCUs is the only place where the head coach don't make more than the president. You knew what you were getting when you got him. He was a championship coach then. So why does it pay? And here's the other thing. Let's talk about facts. 95% of athletic directors in the United States are white. At those big schools, the alumni that give big money are white. They're not ready today, especially with Trump making a push to the presidency of bringing a black man to run our program. They're not doing it. So the only way that we can get there, it's like the Underground Railroad. Man, I got to take me a running back job. Then I'm going to make it to the wide receiver. Because, the running back job is one of the lowest paying coaches on the staff. I didn't want to give our crowd that information. They'd be like, no, you never should have went.
No.
But
so
you got to get in there somehow.
So this is what I will say in that situation, right? Running backs coach may be the lowest hire, but the $500,000 salary for the running back coach is among top Power 5 offensive, especially in the ACC. I'll just put it like that, in the ACC. Maybe not in SEC, but the ACC. But here's the and I want to bring this out because I know we're going all over the place, but this guy has literally been an offensive analyst for 9 years. And I don't know if he called plays this past year, but he was a co-offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. So you mean, see, this is why Manny Diaz is not a good coach, right? Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Because he's hiring a guy that was, coach, if you were a offensive analyst for 9 years, where is your career going, coach?
Whew, that's a long time. But it's all about the break, man. It's all about the break. Those guys talk about jobs all the time, man. They pass each other's jobs all the time. It's just us, the one, we got that little window. And that's one reason why, Bishop, I started this show, was to promote Black coaches, to get us out there, to say that we can coach the game. That's why I started. And for us to start helping us. And that's why, Rocky, I'll be like, these SWAC jobs are the only jobs that we have for HBCU guy to come to get going. And if we start taking them away and hiring all the PWI assisted black guys, where that leave us? We really out the door. Because Simmons went to what, Clemson?
Yep, yeah. He went to Clemson.
He went to Clemson. So he done came down here, took 2 spots. As great as a coach he is, how does that help HBCU guys?
Well, I asked, let's put everything in perspective. And I asked this to Coach Campbell last night while we were having a conversation about me asking him to come on the show with us today. And I said, how? Because I did my research on Willie Simmons. Willie Simmons was a offensive coordinator at 29, 30 years old at a PWI, what would consider at Middle Tennessee State. How did he end up being a SWAC head coach? Because I wanted to know because he was already there. He was already there. And, black guys don't get those kind of jobs at 28, 29 years old. You know what I mean? Right. So they obviously identified him as a brilliant mind, a brilliant coach. And I was like, how did he get to Alcorn and then later on to Prairie View?
Unfortunately, he had a personal issue at Middle Tennessee State, and that's how he got to Alcorn State. It was an off-field, personal thing where he got into some trouble, and they were able to clean it up, and he was able to move from there to Alcorn State. I know the allegation, but it ain't important now, and like I said, this show is about uplifting. It ain't about beating somebody down. So that's how he got
but that was a hell of a ascension in coaching to be an offensive coordinator at 28, 29 years old. You got to agree with me there, right, Coach Campbell?
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I met Willie when he was at Clemson. He was probably a sophomore. And Willie was a leader of seniors, okay? And he wasn't even a starting quarterback. And he was one of the leaders on that team. Willie has always been a leader, man. Always. Willie has the persona. And you know what's great about the way he leads? He leads with respect. He leads with friendship. He's the type of person that, you know what? If Willie Simmons is my friend, he's going to have my back. Right. If Willie Simmons tells me something, I know he's not going to lie to me. This has been like this since, and I'm saying this because he's a grown man, but I'm saying as a reference point, since he's been a kid, okay? I met him when he was 19. He's 43 now. And everything I saw at 19 is perfect at 43. So when you see that, and you see how he handles his players, how he handled Musa, how he said, hey, listen, don't listen to that outside noise. I'm your coach. This is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to win. We were all chattering and all that. And coach was the coach. He knew what he was doing. So that's the thing about it. So this some people have that it. Coach Simmons has that it.
Ain't no question.
And Coach, one thing I can say, it's the little things for me, Coach, is you had the pleasure of giving me a tour of the FAMU field house and their facilities, and we were told immediately Coach Simmons wasn't available. He's in meetings. We proceeded to go through the tour, and before we leave, we know he's busy preparing the SWAC championship is the next day. What does he do? He comes down the hall while he was going to his office to shake our hands and introduces himself. That's to me because he could have just went straight to his office, right? But he didn't do that. He came up the hallway, shook our hands, and gave us the opportunity to introduce ourselves. And for me, with all the swagger and bravado that he has, which is truly, he has the equality, but to be a courteous, kind human being, that means everything to me.
Always has been like that. And that's why I think people, so this goes back to the point about how you leave because you can always come back. When he did his press conference on HBCU game day, it was class personified. It was nothing that after you watched that, even if you were upset, you couldn't be upset anymore because he did it class personified. He was gracious. He was humble. He appreciated the fan base. He said, hey, listen, thank you guys for supporting me. and we've done what we need to do. And now I've left this in a better position. So to Coach's point, but I want to get something that Coach was trying to allude to. But see, this goes back where people are upset about the infrastructure and about why did we wait? Because this is when the infrastructure is not right. When you've got somebody like Coach Simmons, right? And if the infrastructure is in place, instead of us 24 hours having to try to scramble to raise money, see, the infrastructure at Texas A&M and Alabama, the money structure is already there. So if Nick Saban is rumbling, like when Nick Saban did that little fake rumble that he was coming to Texas, the infrastructure was already there. So he wouldn't even have to get up. Now, Texas got the money. And they were like, Nick, you come on. Even the slight rumble. How many times has Lane Kiffin, with the little rumble he's done, he's gotten 3 raises off them white folks, off them Klansmen up there. 3. Because the infrastructure is there to say, okay, if this is what you're going to do, tell me what you're going to do. So now listen what happened with FAMU. The money was there, but the infrastructure wasn't there. Because what happens if, and again, I'm not going to get into what was reported. Let's just go to Coach Cole's point. He already had a 9-2 season. Everybody kind of say, South Carolina already talked to him, right? Where was the infrastructure where the AD said, hey, guys, alumni, we need to have $200,000 ready for Coach Simmons? Because if he wins the championship,
not ready. This is what we need to give him.
Right.
Because we know some people going to come after him.
Yeah, they're going to come after him.
Be proactive.
There you go. But that's part of when infrastructure is put in place. Because if the infrastructure is put in place, the money's already there, the contract's already ready. You lay it out.
But Bishop, that's my problem with us. You know, we'll ride that damn horse, man, and he running like a damn gallop. And the day he gip on his damn ankle, I'm ready to throw his butt back to the stable. And that's why I was telling you, Rocky, yeah, right now he's 12-1. He's rolling. As soon as they have a bad season, man, maybe he don't ran his time out. Then be the same way, be the same proactive way when he go 12-1. But like you say, Bishop, the infrastructure ain't there. I you know what I think, Bishop? I think that we just don't know how to run programs. Now, because we're tied up into a personal thing. Oh, well, it's me, you know, and I don't want to, no, that guy might think he's something. I just think that's, I don't want to say us culturally because I know it happens at PWIs, is that you got to have those right people in place, those special people, like you say, Coach, that understands the structure. That as long as Willie Simmons winning, Florida A&M winning, I'm getting raises, enrollment going up, media coming out, ticket sales. Everybody got their Florida A&M shirt on from 1936. They don't know the magnitude. I mean, when I won at Texas Southern, Bishop, can you imagine we ain't had a winning season in 45 years at that time? You had guys back in the 60s digging through they and getting their shirts on, putting their shirts on. But the people in place didn't understand the magnitude. We were moving into a new stadium, Bishop. We were moving to a new stadium. We coming off a championship. Can you imagine? And you get rid of your winning coach? Who does that?
Yeah.
Who attacks? At Alabama State, Bishop, LC came there from Tennessee State after we won 2 back-to-back championships. Get to Tennessee State, we win the first East Division championship. Next year, we won the East Division championship. Do you know what they done? They went and hired a private investigator to investigate my winning coach so we can get enough on him to get rid of him. Who does that? But what you were saying, who does that, man?
Well, here's the thing. I was telling somebody this today that I mentor. There's a reason why, when you look at jobs and they say experience necessary, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. Look at all our ADs. How many of our ADs actually have assistant AD experience? Probably one. And I try to do this research. So you look, there's a reason why Ashley Robinson does what he does compared to the other. He had experience. So if I tell you, okay, and I'm going to use my AD, what experience does she have negotiating coaches' contracts? What experience does she have to put together a short list of coaches? And I'm talking about where you're in the room, where you're an assistant AD, right? Or you're the third, you're in there, but you have that title, and you're sitting under somebody, and they say, I'm going to teach you because this is what's going to happen when you become an AD.
That's right.
When you go look at these people's background, they don't even have the assistant AD before they become the AD. So if you don't,
from compliance officers to ADs.
There you go. So if you have never sat in the second or third chair, right, to learn. So when you go look at all these ADs at Georgia, Alabama, you go look at where they come from and go look at their resume. It is a building block where they've been in that second chair, where they understand coaching, hiring, compliance, fundraising, and then you know what the AD does? Okay, I'm going to give you this assignment. So you handle it, come back so you can show me. So then when he goes and gets the job at Alabama, he can say, well, I did this. I raised $100 million. And even though he really didn't, he raised $25 million of it, but he knows the mechanics of it. And this goes back about the infrastructure. So again, if I have an AD, so again, my opinion, if we know that Coach Simmons is hot as fish grease, right? Then you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Okay, Coach, I want to offer you a contract. Coach, I don't know if I'm going to take it. Well, I already got a short list already ready. So when Coach made that announcement at HBCU game day, you know where he would have been at? Over in my office. And the next announcement is Coach Simmons handing Coach Campbell the keys to the Ferrari.
That's right.
Because I've already talked to Coach Campbell the last 2 weeks. And I'm telling Coach Campbell through his agent, hey, is Coach Campbell interested? Well, what you talking about? Just in case. What do you think? This is how this works. So I got Coach Campbell's agent, I got Coach Miller's agent, I got Coach Cole's agent, and I'm already having a coach. If Florida A&M comes up, what would happen, Coach Cole? And this is your agent. Well, Coach Cole would be interested. Now, you could be coaching in somewhere else, Coach. You could be at Lane College. But now I already have everything ready. See, this is the infrastructure. So this is where the frustration comes in at. Because what happens is now we look flat-footed, right? And we got money sitting in an account now. Can we do with this money? What can we do with it and everything? And we still don't have a coach.
Right.
And instead of having Coach Simmons working with you saying, you know what? I'm transitioning. I'm leaving because Coach Simmons loves FAMU. You don't think Coach Simmons not going to help with the transition?
Right. Right.
Hey, yeah, we got plenty of calls. But yeah, I'm just so proud of FAMU people because I really didn't like what happened with the whole Jackson State transition. You know what I mean? And you can blame it on Dion, you can blame it on whoever, but I just think the way it was done on both sides showed a lack of class, right? And so, and for that speaking, I'm just glad that you guys are willing to celebrate Willie as he transitions to his job, his new position. And he's always welcome back, man.
And we want him to be successful. I'm saying this, and this is from the Rattler Nation. And if Coach said we want him to be successful, because then what you do is FAMU. You look at yourself and say, okay, you know what? Can we become a la Arkansas State or Troy or Cincinnati, where we can get the hot coach to come in, coach 3 or 4 years, and then they move up? I'll take that because if they're bringing championships and consistency, then that's not, because see, that's a different part of how the game is played. I'm not going to say that about my players because there's a difference about continuity with players. But with coaches, because of the level we are, if we got a good coach, he's going to move up. So my thing is then let's put the infrastructure in place where every hot coach knows if that FAMU job comes up, I want to have that job. I want that job.
Yeah.
See, that's where.
No, I was just letting you know that we got some callers, and let's start it. Let's start it off. Caller with the last 4 of 5240. You're live on the HBCU Coach's Corner with Coach Cole.
I'm back the truck up.
Oh, okay.
I can't talk on the phone while I'm bagging up. I'm bagging the truck.
Oh, yeah.
Come back to me.
Be safe, man. All right.
He said he's bagging the truck up.
Got the truck driver, boy. They got to make sure it's right. Tear that dock up.
Hey, 3363. You're live on HBCU Coach's Corner with Coach Cole.
Hello, gentlemen. How y'all doing today?
We good, man. We good. Who am I speaking with?
You are speaking with JB, a.k.a. Carlton Gumbo, causing the off skip a lot of times.
Okay.
I love this topic that you got going on. Yeah, but JB speaking tonight, man. Mr. Gumbel's still on vacation. Okay, before I go any further with this, I want to give FAMU some props for doing this, man. And I say this, of course, I talked to Mr. Campbell an awful lot about the same topic. What I saw from FAMU last week was the first time an HBCU on the FCS level treat athletics through a business purview and not through a social consciousness, like social experiment. One. What we saw a coach who was popular, a coach who was delivering, a coach who was winning at his level, and of course, like as y'all said, if a coach is successful, he's going to get callers. And this is on the FCS level. This is on mid-level, FBS level. This is all levels of college football, basketball, except if you're winning anything, people are going to look at you. Sorry, I got a lot of blowback. Okay, but I'm going to have to say this too, and this is something about us that we're going to have to look in the mirror about as well. The reason I think why a lot of us are kind of upset about this is because there seems to be a mentality that says our coaches can't leave. Our coaches can't go anywhere because they're HBCU coaches, they're our coaches. All FCS programs are stepping stone jobs. I think the one thing that we need to start accepting is the fact that, hey, you know what? This is what college athletics is about today. This is what it's about. This is about, no matter how much money you get, a coach is going to leave. If he has ambitions to go to the next level, that is what a coach does. You got to have the next one in the pocket ready to say, okay, you know what? If someone's going to go, we got 2 or 3 people on speed dial. Say, you know, let's bring the next person in, next man up, next man up, next man up. But we sometimes do say, okay, well, oh my goodness, as soon as we do something, the white man is going to jump right in. For those folks who may not be paying attention, of course, you guys know this stuff too. Another coach from NDSU won 2 NCAA championships. He's a linebackers coach at USC. His previous predecessor won 3 chips at Kent State as a head coach. You have a coach who actually just balled out of James Madison. He's now at Indiana. They just moved up to FBS, and he went up to another paying job. My point is that the coaches are always going to be looking for their next hustle. They're always looking for the next job, next lined up. And for we to think that sometimes, okay, well, HBCU guys should stay because they're HBCUs, I don't think that those days don't exist anymore. And I think that we have to start looking at things as a business. This is a business that we're in now. This is no longer a cultural experience, folks. This is a business, and our practices have to reflect as much. And also a damn good idea about the AD training and stuff too. But once again, are we hiring people because they are competent in what they do, fundraising and everything else? And by the way, I would also suggest we should look at what other FCS programs are doing in terms of fundraising, infrastructure, everything else. And not really focus on P5. No one is P5 infrastructure. Let's see what our peers in our own weight class are doing and see if we could get some of their best practices and see what they do.
Yeah, let me jump in there. And you know, you are correct, you know, about athletics is a business, and that's the way we got to treat it. We can't get into emotional that, oh, I want Simmons to stay here. You know what I mean? And here's you got to look at the big picture. The more head coaches or the more HBCU coaches jump from the HBCU swag to PWIs, the more opportunities it open up for us of saying, yeah, they do have some great coaches because they recruit our players, Bishop. Rocky, they recruit, you know, our players are actually jumping into the portals in the SWAC and going to major schools. And that's what it's all about. The mass, the more the mass that we get and start getting on the next level, the more it opens up to the SWAC coaches and stuff and players getting on the next level.
Well, you mentioned something.
All get on the same playing field.
He mentioned this. And I want to say this, right? Because there's all FCS jobs are stepping stone jobs, right? I will agree, right? We have agreed. But I think there's a particular situation where a HBCU job isn't the same stepping stone, doesn't give a coach the same step up that other FCS jobs give.
Really,
because at the end of the day, I want to say the coach at Washington was an FCS coach before he went to Indiana, if I'm not mistaken. right?
You said really that an HBCU coach
What is that?
jump from a head coach to another head coach.
The coach at Washington, before he was at Indiana, he wasn't an FCS coach.
He was at Elon first, then he was at James Madison. James Madison moved up from FCS to FBS.
Oh, okay,
and now he's at Indiana.
So isn't that just my point?
Yeah.
Well, yes and no, and I say that because those other types of FCS coaches as well, those other FCS coaches and whatnot, for the most part, they're also winning NCAA championships too. Now, there's also another example that.
So what I'm saying, what I'm pointing is there's a different trajectory for an HBCU head coach. He cannot go from a head coaching position at an HBCU to a head coaching position at a Power 5 or Group of 5 school. That's not the trajectory. That's not true.
It's only 2 coaches that have done that, or 3 coaches that have done that.
That's not true. Okay, I can name off the top of my head 5 coaches that went from FCS to Power 5 or Group of 5 jobs. Just in the last year or two. The guy at Kansas did that. You know, he did it.
Where's he from?
North Dakota State.
Where was he from? No. That's Kansas State. Kansas State, North Dakota State. Rocky. During his time also, he also had FBS wins. He also had 3 NCAA championships. That's kind of a different kind of a qualification talking about that. I mean, one guy's winning HBCU championship, so championship, another guy has 3 FCS titles.
My only point was the trajectory is different. He didn't have to take a position coach job in order to get an opportunity to become a head coach. That's what my point is. Jim Tressel went from Youngstown State to Ohio State. You know what I mean? There are
championships.
Okay, my point is the HB 20 of the top jobs don't qualify to play in the playoffs if they are championship caliber teams in their conference. They don't qualify because they have to play either in the Celebration Bowl or in the SWAC championship and then the Celebration Bowl. So they don't qualify for it.
Yeah, there are drawbacks to doing that.
Yeah. So
there are drawbacks to doing that, though. I mean,
that has nothing to do. That doesn't have anything
comes with that, though.
So let me ask you this: do you think? Let's be perfectly honest. If Willie Simmons, right, had the same resume at a FCS school, would he have to go to be a running back coach to get a head coaching job?
If he had 3 NCAA championships under his resume, he's going to get a head coaching job.
That's not
what
I asked. I said the same resume. The same resume.
That is the same resume.
No.
Chris Cleveland had 3 NCAA championships. That is his resume. Which resume? Name the coach. Name the coach, because we're talking about Celebration Bowl or talking about NCAA championships. Which one? Those 2 different things.
Okay. Do you know who this coach at Texas State is?
G.J. Kinney. Yes, I do know of him.
Yes. So how many?
My next example.
How many?
My next example.
How many championships he has before he became a FBS coach?
Rocky, he was only there for 1 season, and no. I'm
talking about before he got the job.
Rocky, hear me out. I believe he was a coordinator job, but then he took that 1 job at Incarnate Word. He was there for 1 season. During that 1 season in Incarnate Word, his offense led the nation in all Division I, FCS, and FBS.
You can add any qualifications.
No.
You can add. Hold up, JB. You can add any qualifications you want to on it. The fact of the matter, like Coach Cole said earlier, and we're gonna move on, is that there are only 3 coaches that ever went from HBCU Division I football to an FBS coach, and that was tell him again, Coach.
It was Deion Sanders, Willie Jeffries, and Jay Hobson.
All right. Hey, thank you for calling in, JB, man. We're gonna go to our next.
Talking about present coaches, you got talking about Melvin Spears won a national championship. Doug Williams won 2 national championships. L.C. Cole won 2. Pete Richardson won 2 or 3 national championships. Rod Broadway won Black College national championships. Now Trey Oliver won national championships, and none of them get opportunities to get a job at another college up on the mid-level. On
FBS school, group of 5 school. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So caller 4620, you're live on HBCU Coach's Corner with Coach Cole. What's your name and where you calling from?
Well, they call me Wake. I talk to Scotty a lot.
Okay.
Mr. Campbell, I chat with him in the chat every once in a while. So I'm gonna wake y'all up.
Hey, you need to subscribe to us too, man. You with Scotty. But go ahead.
Subscribe.
All right.
So here's the deal. My background is in sports marketing and sports management. I've seen levels. I worked with the certain classics in Memphis. I'm gonna skip the name.
Southern Heritage.
I'm gonna give a research. Yeah. It was some situation going on there, but let me give y'all some resources. So y'all talked about ADs coming up. There's an organization, the National Society of Black Sports Professionals. You can go to blacksportsprofessionals.com. This is a network that brings in young people, black adult black professionals coming up. I know a lot of people coming in being associate ADs, assistant directors of operations. I have a relative that's operation at Vanderbilt, assistant director of operations. I got another guy I know down in Tulane. He's working with Gaucher. When it comes to some of these coaching moves, it takes more than just knowing other coaches. This coach, that coach, this coach, that coach. You have to start connecting with up-and-coming people that are associate directors at other schools. You got to extend your network. Most people say, oh, this ain't out here, this ain't out there. Yes, it is. You have to look for it. You got to know how to network. It takes more than just coach to coach. So blacksportsprofessionals.com. Look them up. If anybody trying to come up in the game, go there. If you go to some of these smaller schools like the MAC or Sunbelt, there's a lot of young black people in those fields that are coming up. Connect with these people. Bring them into the HBCU land. Now, when I'm coming from marketing, I'm a marketing guy. Now there's a phrase that I grew up, I always heard that it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Now, when I bring that to the table, I'm looking at marketing. Rocky, you said this a million times. A lot of people say certain things so many times that they believe that it's true, believe that it's not possible. Stop saying that it's a defeatist attitude. There's a coach in the HBCU land will not make it to the FBS. You keep saying that. It's possible. The one machine that had Deion make that jump from JSU to Colorado was marketing. There is no infrastructure in sports marketing in these HBCU schools.
So his Hall of Fame career, his Hall of Fame career, his 20 years in network broadcasting, they didn't have nothing to do with it.
If that was the case, he would have been in Colorado or somewhere a long time ago.
I mean,
a long time ago.
As far as I know, he didn't.
He made enough noise. When Colorado saw that impact of all the impact they bring on the Jackson State, all the money he's bringing in, hey, if he can do that for them, he can do that for us, and we give him the resources, he's gonna do it bigger. It was all about the marketing machine. The marketing aspect in HBCU land is not there. Now, I played at Jackson State way back in the day. Not too many things have changed. You gotta, in order to get in this game to make those things happen, if you learn the rules, if you get in sports marketing, you expand your network, this whole thing of, coaches from HBCU can't jump the FBS. It will happen if you got the right marketing. If you got the right marketing, you will have the money.
Now,
you got to learn those things that the boys inside do.
Yeah, when you say the right marketing, are you saying the university or are you saying the individual? Because
I'm saying
there's $150,000
sports
for
marketing.
a head coach or $200,000. You don't have a lot of money to start spending marketing on yourself.
Well, I can't talk to you about the influence of marketing on Deion getting the Colorado job. I would say the fact that he went to the Celebration Bowl twice, right? And him winning had more to do with him getting that opportunity than anything that his marketing team was able to do.
But he got national attention, Rocky.
Yeah.
Throwing down the #1 recruit in the country.
Yeah.
That brought him it was already he was out there. I mean, you talk about Deion Sanders. You put him in the same category as Muhammad Ali, Jesse Owens. You know, you talking about apples and oranges, but I understand what my man said. We got to keep sawing away, and we're not saying that it can't ever happen, my guy. We can't say that it. But right now,
I hear what you're saying, but we got to stop saying. We got to stop saying.
But here's my issue with what you're saying, Wake. You say if we stop saying it, does that make it go away? Some would say hold up. Some would say as a black man, the only reason why we take benefit of some of the rights and privileges we have now is because people were willing to speak out over and over and over and over and over again. And that is the power of the people. Is using our voice to point out.
Sure about too, Coach. Me and you talked to the CEO of the HBTV Go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about why is it not any black coaches, analysts? Why not any guys that have came out of the SWAC or the MEAC on the sideline talking about games? We got people from the outside come in and analyze our games. You know, I mean, how do we grow? How can HBCU grow to get us out there? Like you was talking about marketing. How do we do it when we don't honor and respect ourselves? We don't honor and respect the work that some of these coaches have done. You mean to tell me, Marky, that I can't be on the sideline or I can't be up in the booth and talking about a football game? Because I seen a whole bunch of bad coaching going on this weekend in the Power 5.
Coach, let me piggyback on this. Let me tell you what, and this goes back about infrastructure, but I'm gonna name 3 organizations that do exactly what you're saying. The NFL with the NFL Network.
Yeah.
You come in as a boot camp. When you retire, you want to get on there, they have a boot camp for you. And then you start. And then they say, you know what? We'll put you out. And then they go to the teams. You know how the teams have the local shows and things like that? Because they go to the NFL boot camp. The NBA does it better than anybody. And then you know who also does it? To Coach Cole's point, which again is the SEC. Because when those coaches get fired, you know what the SEC says? Mullen, I tell you what, this is what you do. Come on in here. We're going to put you on the SEC network. We're going to have you. And ESPN, since we have a contract with you, we want Mullen to cover our games and speak to it. Yeah. So the infrastructure from the conferences or the organizations. So to Coach Cole's point, what should be happening is our commissioner from the SWAC should be saying, hey, listen, we got Coach Cole out here that's a SWAC legend. We got this coach out here that's a SWAC. I would rather for you guys to have Coach Cole on the sideline, and the money is the money, because you got to understand what it is, but he's going to bring a certain gravitas, and then that's how the pipeline starts. That's what I'm talking about. And you see that with the NFL, the NBA, and the SEC. And that is 100% fact.
HBCU fans want to see a comedy, want to see an LC coach. What are they doing? A Willie Totten, you know what I mean? A James, a Melvin Spears, a Doug Williams on the sideline doing reporting. We don't have that. Now, they have done a great job for women. They have done a great job for women on reporting. Shoot, sometimes you sitting up there with 3 women and 1 guy that ain't never put a helmet on. And I cheer for it. Don't get me wrong, but damn, that's what we about on this show, is about promoting us. You know, and I get it. Can we go into another caller, Coach?
Hey, Ryan, can I give you one example? Can I give you one example?
Go ahead.
Of what I'm talking about.
Go ahead. Real quick. Be brief.
So I live in near Canton, Ohio, where they got the Black Football College Hall of Fame mixed in with the NFL. I helped out with that. I helped with a documentary out in there. I told Scotty this. I told a whole bunch of people this. Here's an example going back to FAMU and alumni, whatever, this infrastructure thing. Where here's an area where a lot of people hit me up saying I'm being ignorant, this and that, just because they don't believe it, they don't see it, they think it's true. Here's where a lot of money is missed out at HBCU. And if you've ever been to an NBA game or an NFL game, you will see this. With that Florida Classic, I asked Scotty, I said, hey, is there a program book for that? He had a show, I talked about a program book, a print program book. Print program books will make you, I would say on HBCU level, about $2 or $3 million for the year. Even one game. They go, ain't nobody gonna do a print, they ain't nobody doing print. I can show you today, I have the Indiana football book and the Indiana Sucks in the Big Ten. I have the book. That book made them $7 million last season. $7 million. We don't even do that. It's those little things that we ignore, that we say that it don't exist, but you say we need to follow what the big boys are doing, but our ignorance and ego and lack of knowledge prevent us from tapping into that. We miss out on a ton of money. So if you had a program book at FAMU, that thing with a whole seasonal thing, they've been $3 or $4 million. They could have went to the coaches, the athletic department, assistant coaches, and spread out.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for calling in, sir. I appreciate it.
We've had Rocky, the bishop made some subject about what he's talking about. I've talked about what we do. We do miss out on so much money, but we do that like the bishop said. We ain't trained nobody. We giving ADs guys jobs coming straight from a compliance. These guys are not sitting in the third or second seat. We put them in the first seat. And there is a lot of stuff out there. We talked about that, Rocky.
Well, let me just say this, and I know I'm preaching to the choir when I'm talking to you guys. It's hard to put a guy in a position that's responsible for generating money who ain't never made a quarter. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna be honest with you. A guy who's had to make a payroll, a guy who is had to go out and make a sale, a guy who has been responsible for a business or an organization, those guys should be in position for jobs that require making money. Now, I'm not saying, I don't know whether they should be ADs or whatever, but I know a guy, an experienced businessman, and I'm just going to put you on the spot, Mr. Campbell, because we had a 5-hour car ride both ways. I mean, a 10-hour car ride, and you were able to tell me some of your experiences as a businessman, and I was thoroughly impressed. But you, on the other hand, could be in a position to help FAMU generate money. I know you already do that as a fundraiser and a contributor, but you could set up a template that can be passed on from one university to the next with all the different things you've done to raise money for FAMU. How many times has institutions reached out to you to assist them with fundraising or generating income?
Well, here's the thing. Let's go back to what the caller said about the networking and things like that. Because yes, and I say this with pride, I helped my class raise $100,000 for FAMU. Now we're trying to raise $500,000. That's our next goal. But when people are on the side of taking this path, that they know they want to be an AD. So he talked about the person in Vanderbilt. See, also the problem too is they stay in those silos. They don't want to come to the HBCU because the money. They want to stay in that Vanderbilt SEC silo. They want to stay in that Big Ten silo. So some of the people that are really talented that we can get, they're like, oh, no, I'm going to stay. And you know what happens too? The white person that is now their mentor, don't go over there, stay over here. So we can't even pull some of our best and brightest over to us to be innovative. To say, you know what, I'm going to give you a FAMU that's a diamond in the rough, that you can turn this into a $20 to $30 million expense. Because if he's over there at Florida State, you know that white guy, well, you really don't want to go over there. You need to stand over here because the opportunities are going to be better over here. So it's a perpetual cycle that we even have to fight with and ourselves and things like that.
Yeah, let me piggyback, man. It's funny that you said that. I was at the Arizona Bowl this weekend, and Toledo and Wyoming played. And my nephew coaches for Toledo. And also Alfred comes from my school, but he's a deputy superintendent. He's a deputy athletic director. And he was talking about he's in the process of working for naming their stadium. Guys, I'm asking y'all, in the MEAC and in the SWAC, how many football stadiums on our campuses that are named, got a name that's named? We only got one, and it might not have. I mean, we might have more, but all I know is one. How many of our stadiums in black college football are named by some bank?
You talking about a corporate have a corporate sponsorship deal?
We got one school that's like that I know of. Do you know any of Mr. Boo? What's Florida A&M Stadium named after?
Well, there you go. It's named after our greats, but there is no First Florida Bragg Memorial.
Yeah.
Stadium.
It's named after mud, been dead for 100 years.
Yeah.
Them days, you got to go out and Florida A&M average what, Coach? What's your average?
About 20,000 people. Yeah, 20,000 people.
17,000, 20,000 a game.
Yeah.
You can't go out and get 10 million for 10 years from some place to put their name up on the stadium.
Well, see, this go. Well, okay,
but we ain't that smart.
Well, see, this goes. Okay, this keeps going back to my point. It's about when I say the resume about experience. If I'm sitting in the second chair and I'm at a school where naming rights, I've seen it done. Guess what? I'm in the room and I'm getting trained to do it. Then, and I come to Florida A&M, I can say, you know what? I did it at Florida State. I was sitting in the room. I know I know who to go talk to. I know how to network with people. I know that you need not only the CEO, but you need the CFO and you need a marketing person all there. Because the CFO and the CEO are the ones that got to say, because this is what I think a lot of people don't understand about sponsorship. As somebody that sponsors, people say, sponsor me. The ROI has to make sense. And if you cannot go to a business and say, give me what you just said, and I'm going to turn $1, then it doesn't do me any good. And if you don't understand it from that very point of a ROI, because I don't want to see nothing about no deck, about, hey, put iWeave on Bragg Stadium. That means nothing. I need to know how many wigs I'm going to sell. What are you going to do for me to sell hair?
You're right.
As every girl that comes through the stadium, are you going to give them a card with a QR code so I can pay for that big banner that you want there? See, and that's where the disconnect comes in at. And stuff like that. So when I see this and stuff, and this goes back again about the experience. And see, this is what also happens with our HBCU alums. I got a lot of phone calls. And I'll tell you this. I won't say his name. I have a classmate that was the chief marketing officer at Victoria's Secret. My classmate. He's not there anymore. So you understand, he probably knows marketing, right? He called me and said, Steve, what the hell is going on at FAMU? But see, they don't engage him, and he could have cut a check for $50,000. We have people at all these schools. You don't think they don't have alumni that work at these places? But again, if we have the disconnect of the alumni that have the experience, that you don't bring them to and say, I'm an AD, and I go to these people. We have the School of Business Industry at FAMU, one of the best business schools. And my AD doesn't go over and say, can you tell me who your best alums are in marketing and have them sit down with me? So maybe I can do some networking and talk to their companies and corporations and stuff like that. That's the way to disconnect. But I tell you what they will do, and this is where, and I'm speaking about Jack State. This is why I used to have a problem with Jack State. I would go to Jack State and say, hey, let's do this, let's do that. The first thing they say, well, Mr. Campbell, just cut me a check. Cutting the check is not what I'm talking about. I'm trying to show you I can make you $1 million.
Right.
But see, they stop and start at cutting a check. But you don't make money by cutting a check. You make money by building a program to generate money.
Network, yeah.
That's what you have to do. So instead of you sitting down, when I said to Jack State, hey, I got a way that I can sit back with all these girls on this campus. I can probably bring you in $200,000 a year. Guaranteed. We put it on the big board. I'm going to sponsor the boom. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put up this amount of money. No, Mr. Campbell, you know what we'd rather for you to do? We'd rather for you to sponsor the alumni for $25,000. Give us a table.
Right. Well, Coach Rocky, you know what school got their name named after?
What's that?
It's UAPB. It's named after a bank. I think the bank have to build it.
Well, you know, again, I think there's a lot of opportunities missed in HBCU football as far as generating money. My grandmother used to say this, and I'm gonna mess it up, but I'm gonna try to get it right. You have not because you ask not.
Right.
You know,
we got any more callers?
Yeah, we do. We actually do. So, caller, with the last 4157, you're live on the HBCU Coaches Corner. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, how's it going, Rocky?
Good, man. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah, this is Daryl.
Hey, what's up,
Daryl? Calling for another number. Hey, a little under the weather here.
Okay.
Hey, you've had some. It's been some great topics tonight. I've been listening to. I think Bishop Campbell has hit it on the nose about raising money. You know, I believe all the HBCU colleges can come together and get the right marketing, and they can raise that money. But I do believe they also have to get the buy-in from the president that when they start having a winning program, it's okay for that head coach to be the face of the school, because it's going to not only bring in money, but it's going to also improve recruitment. I think that's the big issue when you start talking about advertising, that these HBCUs have got to get around. That coach that's winning it's okay for him to be the face.
Hey, Daryl, can you turn down your background, Daryl? Because we can hear it in the.
I think that's me, Coach.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, you fine. Go ahead.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, I totally agree with what Bishop Campbell was saying about raising money and about advertising and just going in and develop a program for the HBCUs. I think all of them can get together and they can bring the ones that are not making the money alone. It's going to take the HBCU commissioner, football commissioner, along with all the coaches, and they got to get the buy-in of the presidents. Because as we know, if you're at HBCU, you cannot be bigger than the president. As far as what I've seen in the 20 years I've been involved with HBCUs. So we can get that buy-in. I agree with Bishop. Hey, let's get out there, get a great marketing plan, and don't be afraid to pay somebody to come in and set your program up. Sometimes it takes money to make money.
All right, Carl. Hey, caller.
That's all I have to say.
Hey, man, thank you for calling in. We got a caller with the last four. 4592. You're live on HBCU Coach's Corner with Johnnie Cole.
What's going on, Coach? How you doing, Mr. Campbell? How you doing, Rocket? This your boy Liddell. How you doing, big time?
Hey, what's up, Liddell?
Nothing much, man. Mr. Campbell, this is your boy Liddell Bugs, and I want to call real fast. I know that I've been kind of listening to you guys for a little bit concerning the Willie Simmons situation, and I've heard, of course, Scotty and then the team do a really good job at unpacking what actually happened. And what tripped me out is I was talking to some people about it earlier on today, and what tripped me out, guys, is it seems to be when it comes to HBCUs. What I've been kind of seeing is this here is for HBCUs, it tends to be that they don't operate by a business type of model. It's more from a governance model. In other words, from a governance model, business-wise, what actually happens a lot of times is you have a few amount of people making all of the decisions and determining what's valuable or not. Versus when PWIs do it, most likely, typically what happens is it's really operating by a traditional asset-led business model type of scenario. That's why when you see when it comes to PWIs, the coaches is normally the face of the PWIs. For instance, I don't know who the president of Alabama is, but I know who the football coach is. The football coach actually runs the entire school from a PR standpoint. When it comes to HBCUs, the most popular person on the campus is the president, not the football coach. So I agree with Bishop Campbell when he says, "Hey, we need to have the football coach be more of the face versus the president." You guys disagree or agree with that premise?
Well, what I'm saying is the football coach is the face of the university, whether the administration embraces it or not. Like, that's the reality. Everybody knows who Willie Simmons is. I think there's not many people outside of FAMU who may know who the president of FAMU is. Like, I don't think that's the issue that I see is the coach is usually not compensated by being the face of the university, in HBCU, in HBCUs. It's normally the president is the highest paid member of the faculty and staff, and the coach, who is the face of the university, cannot exceed whatever salary it is that of the president. And I think that model in and of itself limits black coaches' earning potential at HBCUs.
I can agree with that, but that seems to be where the problem lies at, though. is the compensation structure is president-centered versus football coach-centered.
Well,
And the football program normally brings in all the money, am I right?
I mean, I really can't speak to what generates money on the campus and for the university. I know what people know. People know the head football coach. Maybe Coach Cole or Mr. Campbell, who is more involved in fundraising, and Coach Cole, you've had an athletic budget.
Yeah, most football programs don't bring enough money in. They bring money in, but they don't bring enough money in. But you got to look at it the big picture. If a president calls a seminar, does he get 20,000, 40,000, 50,000? But on a football game, when the head coach is there, he get 40, 50, 60,000 dollars, and he's the face of the university. So yeah, that's always been a problem, and not necessarily a problem, been an issue. How come the head coach don't make as much money or more money than the president? One thing I always said, Bishop and Rocky, if I ever became a AD at an HBCU or any school, one of my first budgets would be a marketing budget. Before I give out any scholarships, I got to let them know the people around, the alumni around, to know that we over here, this is your university, and we need your funding to continue where we want to go. That's one of the first things. Whether it's hiring a guy, a marketing person, and giving them 5% of what they bring in, 10%, depending on if I could give them a little salary, and then according to their money to help me raise and bring in money. Like the bishop say, I'm a man about experience, Bishop. I followed 8 other kids, and I struggled when I was young, but when I discovered, hey man, this is a walk in the park. They showing you the good and the bad to do and not to do. And when I discovered that behind my brothers, man, life has been a walk in the park for me. Even at this age, the ups and the downs, of seeing them go through the ups and the downs. So I'm one of them guys. I'm not hiring no first year guy and giving the keys to my Ferrari. I'm not doing that. If I took over an AD program, that's one of the first things that I would do is, what type of money do we bring in on our marketing? The thing with black colleges that I experienced from all the ones, Campbell, is we don't expand our network. We don't expand. So let's just use Texas Southern. Everybody want to run the Mike Strand. Okay. Everybody want to run the Mike Strand. Yeah, I know he made $20 million a year. Mike, I don't need your money. I need your resources. It's the old saying is, well, I take this $1, just hold up and keep working, and you can have this 10 over there. So now I need your resources. I want to eat for a lifetime. And what happens is you got the athletic program, you got the university, you got the band. They all hitting the same sponsors. And that becomes a problem. And that's basically everywhere. And as you said, Rocky, if you don't ask, you shall not receive.
Hey, I want to thank you, Mr. Bugs, for calling in, man. We got a few other callers that I want to get to, man. I appreciate you calling in, Mr. Bugs. Hey, Coach Pep, you're live on the HBCU Coach's Corner with Coach Cole.
How y'all doing, man?
Good.
Hey, how you doing, Coach Pep?
All right. I want to ask Mr. Campbell a question. That seems more like a running back hire to you, but the coach Willie Simmons, if Manny Diaz can't land that plane at Duke, who you think gonna be the next head coach of Duke? Willie Simmons. It's the same way that Mickey Joseph has got the head coaching job in Nebraska. It's gonna be the same way. If Manny Diaz can't land that ship, Willie Simmons gonna be the next head coach. But they had to backdoor their way in there because coach can't come from the SWAC and be a Power 5 coach right off the bat. They backdoored their way in. He means more to Duke than a running back coach like he meant to Florida FAMU.
Well, Coach Pep, let me ask you a question then. Okay, I like where you're going with this. So the AD at Duke is a black woman. I don't think a lot of people know this. She's a black woman. So what my question would be is, would she then skip over the DC and the OC to go to the running backs coach to be the head coach? Would she have the guts to do that? To your point, so let's play this out. So that means that Manny Diaz, who I'm not going to, let me not do what I was about to do. Manny Diaz, I'm going to use Coach Pep's example, right? Year 3, he ain't no good. They have not gotten where they gotten to, right? So Coach Pep says, we got a guy that's actually been a head coach, and we're going to skip those 2 guys, and we're going to hire that guy. Now, my question will be then, I got a question. What happened to the guy that just left Duke, that's at Texas A&M, and he's got a guy that's his offensive coordinator and his defensive coordinator? You don't think they're going to call that guy and say and send him back to Duke? See, that's where the thing gets tricky, and this is where I understand your logic, but this is where I'm sorry, I'm 53 years old, and I'm just jaded, and I tell my kids, don't be jaded like me. I just don't trust the system. I just don't trust the system.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because her being black.
You think that Nebraska?
White,
you think Nebraska didn't have in their mind who they wanted to be head coach, Mickey Joseph, if Scott Frost didn't right the ship? But here's the thing, Coach Pep. But here's the thing: in the end, they didn't give him the job. In the end, and I'm gonna use the same thing with Cadillac Williams. Cadillac Williams was down at Auburn. They made him the interim coach. Both of these guys. I'm gonna use your example. And in the end, both of those guys who were trying and true had won games for them, and they got skipped over from Matt Rule, and they got skipped over from what's the guy, Hugh Freeze. So your point is my point. So, and I'm gonna use Cadillac Williams, who had those guys playing hard. He was true blue Auburn. He was a running backs coach, and what did they do? And they still didn't give him the job.
Ain't no question. Ain't no question.
You agree with me that Simmons is a different breed. He's a different breed.
Well, I'm just using your example, Coach. I think we agree of the talent of Willie Simmons, but I'm giving you the exact example of how it did not happen. And I'm talking about guys that had credibility at these universities. They were people that were born and bred and made money for these universities, and they couldn't even get the job. So you're talking about a guy that has no ties to Duke at all, skipping over these rungs, and when once again, this woman pulling this trigger, I don't know if she got the guts to do it, because I'll tell you the reason why I say this. Because she wanted to hire, I'm a big basketball guy too. She wanted to hire Tommy Amaker. And you know what happened? Mike Krzyzewski said, no, you're going to hire this young white boy. So that happened at Duke. I'm just telling you. So my thing is, I'm giving you the 2 examples that you use. Those guys, they had a running back coach, Mickey Joseph probably whatever, and neither one of those guys got the head coaching job, Coach Pep.
Right. But I think Willie is just he's gonna end up with that head coaching job at Duke.
I would be the first one, and I can't stand Duke. I'm a Carolina fan. I would buy a Duke jersey if they do. But I'm just using your point where I'm seeing a real time example, which I just gave you. We don't
hold you to that, Bishop. We don't hold you to that.
Now, what I could see, Coach Pep, is initially Willie Simmons being named the associate head coach because of the lack of head coaching experience on Manny Diaz's coaching staff. Now, I definitely could see that where Willie Simmons could be named the associate head coach as the running backs coach, much like I think Cadillac Williams is also the associate head coach at Auburn now. So again, again, it took me a while to settle down after hearing Willie, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw Willie Simmons being the next great HBCU legendary coach. That's what I had envisioned. I think Mr. Campbell and I talked about this, and we also talked about that FAMU was gonna have to get the money right real quick. Like we talked about that leaving the night of the SWAC championship over at your cousin's house. We was like, we know we got to get the money right. We got to get that situation settled quickly because of the level of coach that Willie Simmons is, and when he decided to leave to go to Duke, it was disappointing to me. I thought it was from a career standpoint, I thought it was also a step back, but I come to understand and realize there is no trajectory to a Power 5 job at an HBCU school. And in order to do that, he must leave an HBCU and to pursue that goal. And I accept that.
Let me say this, Rocky. It won't be another Eddie Robinson or anything like it. And if it ever a coach stays there, it's going to be a black coach that finished from an HBCU because he has skin in the game. It's because of the love of being there. But the problem ain't a black coach, a black college coach who finished from a black school. Is the administration gonna do him right for the years to come? That's gonna be us. Willie Simmons had no ties to HBCUs, no ties. He didn't go to one out of high school. That was a year for him to build himself back up and move at where he wants to be at. And he wanted to be back in Florida, at Florida A&M, so he could move. And he's done that. But it will Deion Sanders the same way. He didn't have no skin in the game. He ain't walked them highways and stayed in them dorms, at black schools. It's gonna have to be a black college guy who finished from a black college and get a job and want to stay there. The question is are we gonna let him stay there? And are we gonna support him? Not just pat him on the back and bring him a cheesecake, but also financially. And I think it's some guys that want to coach at black schools that will stay and not move. Only if he's treated right. That's my take.
I mean, I can't respond to that. Do you have any response to that?
Well, this is what I'll say. I almost was with you until I lived in reality. So let's get a guy. He goes Quinn Gray, right? So he sounds like a guy that you would say, right? He's a FAMU legend, HBCU guy. And let's just say Quinn has a run at FAMU like Willie did. And let's just say another school comes and says, Quinn, you don't won 3 Celebration Bowls. We want to give you $1 million.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna be like loving FAMU that much? I don't know.
I think if they give him a contract, a multiple deal, we could get Quinn. We can give you $500,000. We gonna pay your car allowance, your housing allowance, and we gonna give you like they do these other guys. We gonna give you a 10-year deal. Then they give him a man at Texas A&M a 10-year deal.
But here's the problem with Coach Cole. But you want me to tell you the other person that's gonna be on the side is gonna be Quinn's wife, who like that Gucci and gold. And she's gonna be like, if you don't take your ass on there to No Name State and get this $1 million and get up out of Tallahassee.
Let's be real. Let's be real now. When they gonna give a head coach at Florida A&M a head job making that kind of money?
Well, no, I'm just using your example about a guy. I'm just saying, but no, I'm using the only way a guy. No, I'm using your point. The only way a guy stays that long, he has to be successful, right?
Right.
So I'm using your example. If he's going to stay that long, he'd have to have a level of success. And what I'm saying is, again, it could be the same thing. He could be, if he's an innovator, some guy might say, come be an OC, and I'm going to pay you $400,000 more now. So the only reason I'm just kind of using that as a, being devil's advocate.
But I'm saying you looking at a guy that if I was at Texas Southern and I was winning, and they come and say $1 million, but if they say, okay, Cole, we're gonna give you $500,000, boom, 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 and then we're gonna give you a $10 million, a 10-year no-cut contract, I would stay right there at Texas Southern. That's just who I am. Because I coached on the PWI level. It is not.
But Coach Cole, let's have a conversation in reality though. the conversation in reality is this. The highest paid coach in HBCU football, far as my knowledge, is Eddie George. And he makes $400,000 a year, right? How many years would he have to be guaranteed $400,000 for him to turn down a job that pays $650,000 or $700,000?
Well, you missed my point. I said that it's got to be a guy who have went to a black college that have came through.
Okay, so how many years?
Eddie George is there to make 400. So I ain't turning down 400,000.
So Quinn Gray is getting 400 in another universe somewhere. Quinn Gray is getting 400,000 at FAMU. He's won 2 Celebration Bowls, been in FAMU 3 years, right?
Right.
He's offered $650 at Jacksonville State.
To be a running back coach.
No. I'm saying Jacksonville State, who's moving up to Division I. Hey, he's offered $650,000, right?
Right. To be what? To be what?
The head coach.
Listen. We said we're talking in reality, right?
Yes.
There's only been 3 in my last 50 years of being in black college. 3.
I'm saying because of proximity, Jacksonville State is a reality. I believe Jacksonville State would be a reality job for a guy at FAMU. Maybe it's not, but I'm saying if a guy wins big at FAMU,
but I don't
Jacksonville State,
Rocky, no PWI currently or in the last 50 years, Bishop, have took a head football coach from a SWAC school, a head championship football coach, and said, "Here's the head job for you." 3.
But see, that's what I'm saying, Coach Cole.
And none of them are black college graduates.
Right, but I think the thing about it is, and let's go back to Coach Simmons' point. So we will acknowledge your point, but again, we lost our coach that was going to pay him $200,000 more just to be a running backs coach. Okay, we had to match that just to get to that. Okay, we had to match that. So my point of it, if you have the talent, you could be a wide receivers coach at a Power 5 school. You could be a running back coach at a Power 5 school and make that type of money, and then set yourself up to what Coach Simmons is going to be as a head coach, and even at a Group of 5 level, maybe not even a Power 5, Group of 5. So I
guarantee, guys, that we can get on this show and we can talk to 10 black college coaches who've coached pretty much only at black college, and they'll tell you, I guarantee you 8 of them will tell you, man, this is where I really wanted to coach at. I really didn't really care about coaching at the PWI because I know at the PWI I never could be that guy.
So I'm gonna be
talk about reality. And I can name some coaches right now that will get on this show and tell you all I've ever wanted to coach with and be a head coach.
Coach, some of these guys, based on what I've seen the last 3 years, probably don't even need to be coaching at HBCU.
And let me say this too. Let me say this too, Campbell and Rocky. Let's just look at the PWI. It's over 130 teams. Only 10 of them are black coaches, man. Who gonna do it?
Hey, Coach,
who gonna get that job?
Hey, I'll be willing to bet a good amount of money that within the next 5 years, Coach Simmons is a head coach at a PWI.
I'm not knocking that. I'm talking about a black college graduate.
Oh, okay. So you're putting him in a different category.
Right. We're graduating, and we want to come back to our alma maters, or we want to coach in black college, because some of us just have that thing that I want to run my show. I want to be the guy in charge. And I guarantee you, if they take one of these guys, like a Doug Williams, for instance, I guarantee you, if Graham say, okay, Doug, we're going to give you a 10-year, $500,000 a year contract to be the head coach, I guarantee you he would have took it. He would have took it.
But Coach, here's the thing.
Because I would have took it. If you would have gave me a 10-year, $300,000, I'd have put some incentives in there. Then every time I win a championship, you got to go up. I wouldn't have went, man. I'll be honest.
Well, let me ask you a question, Coach.
Head coach at a black school because I knew that I could be in control.
Okay, so Coach, I'm going to play the devil's advocate again.
Yes.
And I got an example. The AD at Texas A&M liked your idea, right? He gave that contract. Do you think he's not regretting that now? Do you think? That's the problem. While that sounds good in theory, that's the reason why people, and again, somebody who does contracts works with contracts. There's a reason why some contracts have length, and there's a reason why some contracts are short, because it's all about risk or reward. So if I want a longer contract, if I want to keep a price a certain way, right? I want that contract to be 30 years because I know prices are going to go up. So if I can lock you in right now and I only got to pay you $10 a month, you know what? I want that. But the flip side of it is that I also know the marketplace changes, and I don't want to lock myself up at a higher rate, and then you're not performing at that rate, and I can't get out of it. So that's the reason why you're not going to see somebody that's going to get a 10-year contract. You probably will never see that again what Texas A&M did, because the way they got burned by that,
Coach,
you won't see it.
But Coach, that's the thing now. All these guys are signing long-term deals. The boy up at Michigan State that just got let go, he signed a 7-year deal.
And they ain't pay it either.
Well, see, they
didn't pay it over freaky phone calls. Freaky phone calls cost him his job.
I think let's just talk black college. How could we have kept Willie Simmons? I guarantee you, if they say, "Okay, Willie, we're gonna give you $400,000 for 10 years,"
that wasn't the money. Wasn't
we're gonna put incentives in there that as you do good, we're gonna pay you even more. I guarantee you, he would have to sit in there and chew on that and say, "Baby, look, we 4 years." I'm saying this. That's what. How we gonna have to be able to hold coaches.
Hold up.
We can't offer the millions, but we can offer the what? The years.
But you're completely ignoring what Willie Simmons said. And what Willie Simmons wants, FAMU can't offer.
In that particular case, I understand.
That's what we're talking about.
He wanted to be a head coach of a PWI. That's why I specifically said an HBCU guy that comes from an HBCU coach. Most what did Dooley say, Rocky, on our show? He said, I never even looked at trying to go to another school. I wanted to coach at a black school. James Woody said the same thing. Guys that I talk to that says the same thing. They want to go back to, because I guess we got this thing in our mind that we want to be the next Eddie Robinson. And I think when you get a good coach at a black school that got black background, I think if you can't offer him the money, but you can offer him the years, I guarantee you.
So Coach, let me ask you this, Coach. Say you are at the University of the Texas Southern. Say you at Texas Southern, and you've created this innovative offense. And we just gonna call it the hobo offense, right?
What you mean? That's true.
All right, and you're scoring all these points all over the place. But you're a Texas Southern alumni. You at Texas Southern, and you getting paid $315,000 a year, right?
Right.
Houston can't beat nobody. And they come over to you and say, Coach Cole, we'll pay you $1 million a year. You don't have to move. You just have to change offices. How loyal are you at that point, Coach Cole?
I would expect.
No. I don't need no politicking right now, Coach Cole. What I want to say, how you gonna tell your lady you turning down $700,000 because this is your alma mater?
Can I speak?
Yeah.
Okay. If Texas Southern said, "Look here, Coach, we gonna give you $500,000, but we gonna give you that $500,000, but we gonna keep you for 10 years, and every winning season you have, we gonna keep you on." Coach, I'm looking for longevity. I'm looking for longevity. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand that this game is real short. Now I might go over there and make $3 million. You know what I mean? and then they get rid of my dead butt, but then I stay somewhere for 10 years and make $5 million.
But Coach Cole, so you created that hobo offense just to see if it works against black kids and black coaches.
I don't give a damn, Coach. I just like coaching, and I like scoring. Whether it's in a black game or in a PWI.
And that's my point, Coach. At the end of the day, Coach, you're gonna defer to the opportunity and the challenge. I believe that's what Willie's doing. I don't believe that he's walking out on FAMU, walking out on those kids. I believe he wants the next challenge as a coach, and he wants to take on that next challenge. And I believe you would want, if they told you didn't have to move, you didn't have to change addresses, and you could pick up a cold hard another $750,000, and you ain't got to change, you ain't got to move, you just got to take you just got to put a few things, your pictures of your wife and kids in your box, and then take it over to still in Third Ward and just set up shop. And you wouldn't take.
That's what y'all gonna call me. You a damn fool.
What? I don't know. Maybe is that what you would call it, Mr. Campbell? I would.
At Texas Southern, I would have said, look, if y'all can give me a 10-year deal that I'm gonna have a job and I'm gonna be able to retire here, then I'm gonna take that. Then this is what we're gonna be.
Well, here's the thing I find interesting, and I'm gonna take the black-white dynamic out of it, but just coaching period. And Coach Cole, you're gonna understand this. Let's look at the SEC. It's probably only two coaches, Nick Saban and probably one other coach that's been there over 6 years.
Right.
Everybody else has transitioned.
Right.
Coaching is a tough business. Winning is tough. You can't, first of all, there's no possible way to have multiple winners in the conference because somebody has to lose a game, right? So there's no way that you're going to have multiple guys. So this is what happens when you go. There was a fine time in the SWAC, but and Coach Cole, you know this, especially in the 80s. You had Eddie Robinson, WC going, but then I'm gonna tell you something. Marino Castle will have a great year here. Then he'd all going to go here. He had that great year here. Southern was totally down during the 80s. So same thing. So you did not have the consistency. So I can go to conference after conference. It's only going to be 2 or 3 coaches that have the consistency of a high level winning percentage. So even to your point, those guys are few and far between. And on any level, especially in college football. So I can go to any conference and I can go and look at the transition of these guys and see. Look at Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley is already on the hot seat at USC. Already.
When you answered my question, if I went to U of H and made $3 million and they get rid of me, but I can make $5 million for 10 years as a coach, just like you said, coach ain't longevity. As a coach, what you gonna take?
Wait, hold on. But I'm gonna say I'm the AD, and you want me to. And what if you had those 3 down years, and then I got a young hotshot guy like Willie Simmons that's over at Prairie View?
You gonna have to pay me. You got.
Well, that's what coach. See, that's the business. See, that's the business.
That's pay me my 10 years.
Exactly, and that's the reason I'm gonna hedge my bet, Coach.
You gonna go Willie Simmons and not me.
Well, Coach, that's why I'd rather hedge my bet because.
And this is what I want to say, Mr. Campbell, is that Coach is asking for something that don't exist in the profession that he works in.
That's the thing. on no level.
It does work not in the SWAC, but
not anywhere, Coach.
My man, it takes A&M just signed a 10-year, $7 million.
He gone.
Did he not, Bishop?
He had his.
But what happened is they will never sign another guy to that deal because that turned out to be. See, that's my point. It proved out to be a mistake.
He signed my man at Michigan State for 7 years,
and that turned out to be a mistake.
He's gone. What they great do? They hired Harbaugh. Just signed him to $125 million.
Okay. Now see this. Now you keep going to make my point. Jim Harbaugh has proven on every level that he's a great coach. Same thing like when.
But he's got a long contract.
Yeah, but see, Coach, there are only few Jim Harbaugh. That's the point. That's why you can give that guy that. So what I'm saying is most guys are going to be like Jimbo Fisher. Most guys are not going to be like Jim Harbaugh and Nick Saban.
Coach, most guys go. Me. I'm one of them guys. I ain't coaching, but I'm one of them guys. You know.
But Coach, what I'm saying is, if I'm an AD and I know you're a quality, I bring you in. I'm still going to protect my interests because, again, it's all about the return on investment. Because if I in year 6, 7, and 8, and you're not producing, because you know what's going to happen, you might still be there, but the alumni is going to have my ass out. So I ain't going to have a job.
I'm trying to find out an AD to stay that long.
Well, you're not. See that
these days. That's what I'm saying.
I just think this, Coach. The reason why a lot of those men in those positions are great is because there's no security, because they can't let up, because they have to go out and get it every single day, every single year.
You think Jimbo Fisher kind of put his hands together? I mean, stuck his hands in his pockets.
Well, what I think, Coach, is this. It's a whole lot easier getting that $76 million from the porch of your ranch house than it is standing on the sidelines at Texas A&M and going in those press conferences after those big losses. It's a lot easier. They're going to forget about you. Eventually, they're going to forget they ever had Jimbo as a head coach. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that determination and motivation that the coaching profession generates by not having security, it forges great men. It forges great men, right? So you can't make those jobs now solid and secure when they never have been, especially when your primary job is to compete and win. Those organizations want you to continue to compete and win even when they're paying you that big money. So that's why they don't give you any security in those jobs, in my opinion.
Well, you know I love you, Rocky. We're going to agree to disagree. I think that is something in you. Nick Saban has won everywhere again. Nick Saban got so much freaking money.
How many Nick Sabans is it?
How many Johnnie Coles is it?
I agree, Coach.
Okay.
You may
how many Eddie Robinsons is it? It ain't many. And I agree with you, Coach. It ain't many. But I don't think money make you that way. Look at again. I don't want to harp on the brother from Michigan State, but damn, would he go out and do some stupid shit like that, making the money that he? Dang, I'm cussing everything.
Hey, let me add. We got a caller. We got one caller. I'm gonna take this last call, Coach Cole, and then we're gonna close it out, man.
Okay.
Caller, I guess we got another caller. Caller with the last 40940. You're live on HBCU Coach's Corner. Hold up. You there? Are you there? I hear you trying to say something, but we can't hear you, buddy.
You're trying to back the truck up.
Oh.
All right. Wake is back again. So Wake, you gonna take us out, Wake. Hello?
Wait, want to hear self-talk, huh?
Hold on. Wake, are you there? Hold on, let me see something.
Bishop, where you living at now?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, I got you.
Hey, but Bishop, I just want to say something quick about Willie. At the end of the day, how will you stack up Willie Simmons against the other coaches that have served in that position at FAMU?
See, this is what I had this discussion with somebody. So you're talking Rudy Hubbard, you're talking Jake Gaither. Those are the guys that just come to mind really quick. You know, Jake Gaither is on the level of Eddie Robinson. So I think you just can't compare that because that's a different time and era. So I'm going to go post-integration. Coach Cole will understand what I mean by that. So the inflection point is Rudy Hubbard. But what I will say for what Willie Simmons has done, because here's another thing too.
And they can unmute themselves.
Here's no problem. You had a bigger conference. You had different challenges. And for what Willie Simmons to maintain the level of consistency with 3 different quarterbacks, I think, I mean, I literally, I mean, I know what Coach Hubbard did, but and maybe a little bit of recency bias because I do remember with FAMU, because FAMU played Jack State actually in the semifinal. A lot of people don't know that. So, but I'm just saying that is a close thing because Coach Simmons has showed greatness.
Let me say this, and I'm gonna tell the bishop like I tell you, Rocky. You're an armchair quarterback. You can't tell me that Billy Joe wasn't one of the greatest coaches.
Well, no, you know what? That was a brain lock. No, I got to add Billy Joe. You know what? And I'm gonna say the reason why. I only we cannot
go Division 1A.
No, you're right.
Know what it is, and they forced him and put these Division 1A schools on, and he got crushed. But
well, let me tell you what happened. Why Coach, no, and you're right. I want to make, but no, what I was doing, and that was quick because he asked me the question quick. I was just thinking championship to championship because Billy Joe went in playoff games and things like that. I mean, because that's what FAMU's won more playoff than in HBCU. So to your point, so absolutely, yeah, I told, and just Coach Billy Joe just overall, because what he did at Central, let's not even forget about that. You know what I mean? Let's not even forget about the power that Central was and things like that. So, yeah, when you say that, so, yes, I was just really quickly thinking championship to championship. You know what I mean?
And then, Campbell, may I add, and you're right, may I add, your school, boy, Coach, we played him at Tennessee State, Coach, and we were number one in the country. We played him to the nail biter, Coach, at Tennessee State. And Florida A&M played Jackson State, Southern. It wasn't no way. And you know, back in them days, Coach, everybody was good.
Everybody was good. And you know, I'm gonna tell you what's so fun. I was on another show, and I heard, and this is why I always tickle me about people that go to school but don't know the history of a school. And they were like, "Oh, FAMU shouldn't be in the SWAC." I said, "Do you understand? Tennessee, FAMU, Jackson State, and Southern all would play each other with NFL players all on these teams, but they didn't know that. But they didn't understand it because they went to school in the 2000, and you know, for them, the 2000s when the world started. You know what I mean? So the 2000s when the world started. But I'm like, these are why they're blue blood programs, because when you saw these guys, you saw high level coaching and NFL players on the field. There's a reason why these schools are 1, 2, 3, and 4 of NFL players produced.
Yeah.
Hey, caller, you're live. 0940. You're live on HBCU Coach's Corner. I guess something wrong with his phone.
Yeah, he want to listen to himself.
Oh, okay.
But now, Coach, and that's,
all right.
I know.
The last one I'm gonna go to is 5240.
Hello.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, what's going on? That's what I had a question about. Willie Simmons is as a running back coach. He's in the top 10. Well, he's $5,000 from the top 10 as a running backs coach. Out of all Power 5, he's top 10. Well, $5,000 from the top 10. Is it possible that he brought him in to be assistant to the quality coordinator / offensive coordinator? And maybe he's going to take over that job if he mess it up? Could that be it?
Yeah,
that's Mr. Campbell.
Hey, they could make that change in the spring. That could be it, Coach.
See, I'm gonna get in trouble.
He came in. He in the top 10. Well, $5,000 from the top 10 out of all Power 5.
Yeah.
In salary range.
That's a lot of money.
I'm gonna say this. And I don't know nothing. I don't know. I'm not friends with Willie. I don't know Willie. Manny Diaz is not a friend of mine, nor is Brewer in relation. I just know this. Willie is going to call the plays by the time season 1 is over with.
Yeah. And no,
out of your mouth to God's ears. So listen, I just want to, because I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm going to say this, because this is a more of a compliment to Coach Simmons. All I know is I guarantee that white boy's going to ask Coach Simmons more questions than Coach Simmons is going to ask him. I'm going to leave it at that.
Can you believe the Bishop that my office was next to John Harbaugh, who was the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, and we would sit in the press box together, and I would make calls, but I would have to make them through him to get them downstairs for them to listen to me, and he'll look over at me like, great call. I'm telling you, man. you know, we don't give each other the credit that we deserve, man. I mean, these guys are going off of analytics. They're going off of math stuff. Why do you think Miami is falling apart? Because sometimes the human element, it supersedes numbers. This guy has got a head coaching job because he's a mathematician. They go by numbers. In the game, at the end of the day, you can't measure. You can, but you can't measure what's inside a human.
Well, this is what I do know, Coach, about football. Football is a sport that's led by men, right? And Willie's a man, right? Willie's a man. And at the end of the day, Willie is going to be able to impact what goes on in their coaching staff, not just because of his position, but because of his mind. We all have seen Willie in high-pressure packed situations and how cool he is and how he dials it up and makes it happen for his team.
That's right.
Bro, football is football. White, black, green, or yellow. Football is football. The team that can get out there and execute is going to win the game, right? Willie has proven to be able to get a group of young men to do that at a very high level. And I'll say this, and Mr. Campbell won't say it, but I'll say it. Nobody on the staff at Duke has had any level of success that Willie has. And let me say that again, because I'm gonna say it. Nobody on that staff has had the level of success that Willie has had in coaching. And I'll just leave it right there.
All right.
And also they probably brought him in for the Florida ties too, Florida recruiting.
Oh, come on now.
Without a doubt. They go down in Florida and they recruit. You're right. And paying him $500,000 as a running back coach, you're right again. That's a lot of money for a running back coach. Usually those guys are the lowest.
He's top 10.
Yeah. Usually those guys are the lowest on the totem pole.
Coach, I'll leave it up to you. We got two more callers just called in. Do you want to take them or you ready to go?
Yeah. Good, Coach. We gotta take them now.
All right. Last 45883. You're live on HBCU Coach's Corner.
Yes. Hi, Rocky. This is Karen Griffin. I have a question for the coach, Coach Cole. So what you're saying is, I've been listening for the last 20 minutes. So you're saying if someone who's black, who's their own personal goals don't align with the HBCU culture, they shouldn't even apply for a job?
No.
At an HBCU?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
no. But what you've been saying for the last 20 minutes has come across like that.
Okay, I think you misunderstood what I've said. I said a black college graduate that has a black college job, and he's making $300,000, and he's a winner. And some school comes to say, some PWI comes to say, well, I want you to be my running back coach for $500,000. I'm saying the black school, if he would come to that black coach and say, okay, we're going to give you $400,000, but we're going to give you a 10-year contract. In Simmons' case, Mr. Bishop and Miss, if Florida A&M probably would have said, hey, Simmons, all right, we already don't raise $138. We're going to get it to $200,000. You already make, what is he making, Campbell?
He was making $300,000 plus incentive.
Okay, so we're going to raise $200,000 and we're going to give you a 10-year contract. Coach Simmons would have had something to think about. He would have had something to think about. Or we're going to give you an extra $100,000, but we want to keep you for 10 years. And I'm telling Mr. Campbell and Rocky, for me, Johnnie Cole, I'm a black college guy. I don't have aspirations to coach on a white level to say I can coach. But I got a responsibility to my family. So no, I won't take the $500,000. I would take the 10 years for an extra $100,000. That's what I'm saying. No, I think black coaches, whether they at black schools or wherever, to go to PWIs and be successful, all I'm asking those guys to do, because it didn't happen for me starting to coach in 1986, that these black guys never reached back and brought me up or asked me or tried to say, hey man, we got a receiver job, or go to tell the head coach, we got Coach Cole down at Tennessee State, he blowing it up. Won't you bring him in to interview him to be the receiver coach, to be the running back coach? I never got that. Not only just me, other black college coaches that I know. Those black guys was up on the 1A level and thought that they would be up there forever and never reach down to get it. Then now all of a sudden the trend changed from the 80s to the 90s. Now these black guys realizing they're not going to be coordinators. They're not going to be head coaches. Then now all of them rush to the SWAC and the MEAC to take over head jobs because in our minds, administrators, oh, well, he coached at a big time. I know he can come down here to coach, not knowing what it takes to coach at a SWAC or a MEAC. You got to roll your sleeves up. You got to paint the locker. You got to line the field. Do y'all with me? I've never said that a black coach should not.
Again, for you to. So what I'm saying is, it's just, and again, I'm only saying this because of what Willie said and because I visited the space. And so my point of saying this is, I'm sure his salary was not the only consideration that was being made when he was talking about the job. So you could give him 10 years worth of security. You could give him, matter of fact, let's give FAMU their props, right? Because they weren't gonna let Duke outdo them as far as salary. They weren't gonna lose Coach Simmons because of money. They didn't lose him because of money. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Let her talk.
Okay. Let me just say this. It may not have been just about the money or lying about the money. It's about talent. It's about facilities. Okay. And let me speak. Okay. When he came 5 years ago or 6 years ago, his challenge was to bring FAMU back up to its winning ways. And he has done that. So, why not, if someone wants another challenge, why is he being criticized for that? And then also, as far as facilities, that field house, I keep hearing about the field house. Well, the field house should have been built or re-renovated 2 years ago. And as far as a long-term contract, I mean, that's nice, but you're asking the candidate or the coach to make all the sacrifices, and then you guys give him what you think, to show that he's down. He's with the cause.
I couldn't agree more, Kenya. I couldn't agree more. You're asking.
It's Karen.
Kenya.
Karen.
It's Karen.
Karen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking
Karen.
at
Kenya's on the screen.
Oh,
Karen is talking.
Karen, my apologies, Karen. Karen.
Go ahead, Rock.
Now, what I'm saying, Karen, is that he shouldn't be criticized because he fulfilled his obligation as a coach.
He's being crucified for that.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Now, I'm a FAMU person. Now, because FAMU people are not crucifying him. So let's not put that narrative out there. Now, because if you saw two people on Twitter, that the FAMU faithful, and which I'm part of, that we are not because I want to be very careful with that. So when somebody says who is crucifying it, I want you to be clear on that, because the FAMU people that have supported Coach, that raised that money, because even the people and Kenya Sykes and I'm telling you, is a super fan who is a super supporter of FAMU that knows the program inside and out. So what I'm saying is, no, hold on, wait a minute. I'm gonna let you talk. Just hold on 1 second. Just hold on. What I'm saying is when you say that, because somebody that's from the outside criticizing, they got the right. But I'm saying the people that rolled with Coach Simmons from the day he got there understood the decision. Now, we didn't like it, and we didn't like it because we didn't want to lose our coach. Nobody wants to lose a great coach. But I'm gonna tell you something. In the end, we respected the decision, so nobody's crucifying him. Now, I'm just being honest.
Kenya, can I say something?
Karen, it's Karen.
Karen, I'm sorry, Karen. Can I say something? You said you just jumped on the last 20 minutes. You looking at a Simmons fan. You looking at I'm a Simmons fan. With Rocky, when you text me the first time, you said, "Man, looks like Simmons is going to Duke. Man, this set the swag back 60 years." I said, "Well, I don't think it set us back 60 years, but I'm cheering for him to go." Okay, I'm about uplifting black men, women. I'm about uplifting, and if he could go and make it better for him and his family, I'm all for it. The question was what would I do, me personally? And I was telling them that I am a black college graduate. I know black college guys that's been in my profession would rather stay in a black school if they could get some type of security.
Now I was trying,
and these guys was on me about, oh yeah, right. If you get $1 million, man, you're gonna be out of here.
Well, I was trying to. What I was
about.
really trying to do was bait Mr. Campbell into the conversation about how you believe that HBCU grads are more loyal to institutions, and
Okay.
Mr. Campbell didn't.
That's what I got.
Mr. Campbell didn't enter the conversation from that angle, right?
Well, I think, but see, I think we can't conflate what Coach is saying, because I understood what his point was, and what he was trying to talk about, a contract structure, a guy that you want to stay long term. He has to know the school, he has to love the school, he has to want to be there. You got white people that are the same way. Jim Harbaugh went to me; he loves Michigan. I get it. So I understood what Coach's point of it is, but I think we're having two different conversations, because Willie Simmons, his goal is not the same what Coach Cole was talking about, of a guy that we might want to keep for a long-term goal. Those are two different goals, and neither one of them are wrong. So Coach Simmons had a goal. He said it. I'm going to support that goal, because if you want to be something and you want to go be at a Power 5, that's like, you know what, Rocky, down in Texas, there are coaches in Texas that are great high school coaches that could be great college coaches. Their mission is to be a high school coach.
Right,
Absolutely.
Right. They stay right there for years and years and years. And that's all up while I was saying, no, Willie Simmons should go. My thing, he should go and chase his dream. I'm saying that black college guys who graduate from black college schools have a little more loyalty to that black college. But the problem is that the university that they come from don't have that loyalty to them, because they don't show it to our pocket and they don't show it to our years. That's what I'm saying.
So Edwin Moore has and I'm assuming he's a HBCU alum because he made this statement. He says, Rocky, that isn't true for all HBCU alums, especially since the 90s. A lot of alums have no desire to work for their alma maters.
Well, he's entitled to his opinion, but of course, Rocky, I talk to people all over the conference, all over the place. I've talked to ex-players, and I get that, and that's his opinion. I can't argue his opinion, but I know I talk to football coaches who have graduated from black schools, and I hear they cry. They cry.
Let me explain that comment I made to you, Coach. When I said this sets back, I was looking at it from this perspective. You're talking a coach at the pinnacle of success in HBCU football. He's at the pinnacle. There is no higher achievement than winning the Celebration Bowl, winning the SWAC, and winning all your conference games. It literally, you can't, in HBCU football, you can't do anything any better than that. And that coach, right, is being selected and considering the running back position at a basketball school. Not Texas, not Alabama, not USC, but Duke. What does that say about what a HBCU head coaching position is in the grand scheme of things? That's what I was looking at.
Well, it ain't no secret, Coach. Let me go back over it. 3 guys from an HBCU school who have won a national championship is going to be a head coach at a Division I school. Only 3. You can't even put Willie Simmons in that group. There's only what, Campbell? 10, 12 black coaches in PWI, period. Come on. It's there.
But
what are we talking about?
But after talking with you, Coach, and also talking with Mr. Campbell, I was, you know, you guys imparted on me that his individual goals, right? Him coaching at a HBCU actually hinders him from reaching his individual goals based on history, right? Based on history, there's not a path to him to be a Power 5 coach from an HBCU. And once I understood that being the situation, right, he has to somehow at some point make that transition over. And what better time to do it at age 43 when you know and go ahead and get your career take it off, because he is a rocket ship as a coach. He is going to ascend to the highest levels, in my opinion.
I think the experience he got at Prairie View and Florida A&M is unmatched. When he goes up on the next level, and I've coached at Division I-A, when he goes up, and he's done that, coaches, it's apples to oranges. You got everything that you need and you want when you go there. Everything. You got coaches that go wake players up. All Willie Simmons got it. Just look at him as a running back coach. I was a receiver coach. He's got a car. He's got money to recruit. He's got people to take care of his players. He's got people to call his players. All they got to do is coach the running backs. And as we say, and I believe Campbell and I believe you, Rocky, he ain't coming in there just to be the running back coach. He gonna get involved in play calling. And that's all he got to worry about. So all the experience he learned at Florida A&M, all the experience he learned at Prairie View, is going to be, when they name him the head football coach, he going to go straight to the top. In PWIs, he going to go straight to the top. Because he going to know how to deal with players. He going to know how to deal with black players. He going to know how to go recruit. He going to know how to deal with people. Man, that dude he's sensational, coach. And he's chasing his dream. And I'm for him. I'm just saying, as a black college graduate, talking to other black college coaches, it might be wrong, Mr. Campbell. It might be wrong, Rocky, that's our thinking. But we always wanted to be the guys in charge. Those guys who think like me want to be the guys in charge. We don't want to be a guy that come in there and coach the running backs for 25 years. Do y'all know how many coaches, black coaches I know that's been running back, wide receivers, linebacker coach, even for 20 and 25 and 30 years?
D-line coaches.
They made the money.
You take a look at a guy like
money is a resource to me. You know what I mean?
You look at a guy like Larry Johnson. I don't know where he works now, but he worked at Penn State for years and years. And he put so many guys in the pros as defensive linemen. And it got to the point to once they were looking for a coach after the Joe Paterno mess, they ended up hiring some other guy as a head coach, and he ended up going over to the Chiefs. You know what I mean? As the defensive line coach.
Can y'all imagine how many black coaches have gotten passed over and how they feel in their careers? Do you think that makes them feel happy? Yeah, I got $1 million in the damn bank, but I've always been secondhand. I've always been put down. I've never wanted to feel that way, man. I never wanted to feel that way. And I'd rather be in the spot I am doing it. Well, I'm Frank Sinatra, Mr. Campbell. I've done it my way, man. And I can live with that. And I can sit here and I can be okay with it. But I became a head coach. I've won a championship. And that's good for me. You know what I'm saying? And when I talk to other guys that's been in profession for 15, 20, 25 years, Rocky, you've been coaching the running backs for 25 years and never been a coordinator. What is that saying about you? And then you got little Johnnie Rocket was catching balls when you was a full-time coach. Now all of a sudden, he the goddamn head coach of a pro team. How does that make you feel? You know those guys, them black guys, they go through some things, man. They go through some things. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, Mr. Campbell, way back in the show, boy, coaching football is tough. It's tough.
Hello?
Yeah. We got caller 4089. You're live on HBCU Coach's Corner. What's your name and where you calling from?
Antonio McKinney from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Go ahead.
Nah, Coach Johnnie, first of all, I want to show some love to you, man, because I'm a young black coach. I'm 35 years old. I coach football and wrestling here in Charlotte. So I have to show love to my elders, guys that's coached like you did for years. So I can hear the pain. I can understand your frustration, because even as a young coach myself, I see it at a lot of predominant white schools versus black schools here in the North Carolina area. One of the things that I would like to ask, and I hope I don't get killed when I ask this question, because I know what's his name, the bishop already kind of.
Hey, man, don't worry about these armchair quarterbacks, man. I got them.
The vitriol they had for Coach Deion, but my only question is, even though I don't want to get into how he left Jackson State, but my one question would be, I have a two-part question, but the first part of my question is, do you believe because of some of that light that he did show HBCU schools and what he's doing at Colorado, do you guys think that might have helped Willie Simmons in getting the job at Duke? Only because if you remember, Manny Diaz was at Miami. He would have known Willie Simmons during his time at Miami when he was there, when Willie Simmons was at FAMU. FAMU, he could have easily asked Willie to come over then. So now that he's at Duke getting a second chance to coach, and we all know in North Carolina, Duke is one of those programs, they just happen to go to bowl games. They ain't no national powerhouse. They ain't finna be a national powerhouse in football. They just want to go, they want to have a good competitive team, because for years they were the laughing stock of college football because they couldn't win nothing. So they just want to win bowl games and stay consistent. So when you bring in a man Diaz with a defensive mind like he does have, he's a good defensive coach. When you bring in Willie Simmons in, my question is it because of some of that light that Coach Prime may have had at Colorado and the fact that he was at an HBCU school? Do you think that some of that light might have shined on Willie? Because when Coach Prime does talk about Willie Simmons, he always talk about that man glowingly.
Well, Mr. Campbell, you want to start?
Okay. Well, let's. Manny Diaz and Coach Simmons have a relationship where they go back to Middle Tennessee State, so that's where that comes from. That ain't got nothing to that. Yeah. Which is no. That's why you call it ass. So it's no disrespect. I'm just giving you the background.
And let's say that. Now, I just want to add this: Willie Simmons was a coordinator, and Manny Diaz was a quality control coach at that time.
Wow. Do y'all see how black and white careers go? And it's plenty of that.
Go ahead, Mr. Campbell.
Go ahead, Mr. Campbell.
Yeah. So this is what's interesting about relationships. So this is where a relationship with a white person worked out. You know what I mean? I knew the guy, and then let's talk about how relationships build. So Manny Diaz's son becomes a GA under Willie Simmons. I do you a solid. So this is how white people build these relationships for 15, 20 years. So it's the same thing. The white guy that he hired as OC, that's his boy. He did him a solid. So this happens in the coaching fraternity, but what happens is where black people get hurt is because white people, their white friendships are valued more than Coach Cole's experience. I'm going to go for friendship over Coach Cole's experience. So I'm going to hire my white boy that's my friend, that's my buddy, and I'm going to, which Manny D, again, I hate to say it, this is just me outside looking in. That's what it looks like a little bit, but this happens all the time. You see these jet set guys that quality control. Look at Sean McVay. Look at all these guys, these young hotshot guys. Look at how they jumped over these guys that were black coaches that had experience. Eric Bieniemy, you can see this. So to answer your question, no, Coach Prime did not have anything to do with Willie getting elevated. That was it was two things that Willie got elevated because he's a great coach. So his resume reads right. Second of all, he has a great relationship with Manny Diaz, obviously. The fact that he can hire his son and that they've known each other close to almost 20 years.
But can I interrupt one thing, Kim? You see how white guys come to the black level, get that experience, and then boom, they shoot right back up to the white schools and be coordinators and then head coaches. You see how they do that? But a black guy can't leave from a HBCU. but a white guy can't.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting that the reason why I think Manny Diaz would send his son to an HBCU is to get his son. If his son it truly has an aspiration to be a coach, he got to be comfortable with big black men.
No, I get that. But you hear what you just said. Oh, yeah. I'm white. I can come coach on the ABC, and I can come up to the white level, and everything is okay. But if I'm a black guy coaching at the HBCU level, oh, you're terrible. They play bad football down there. You don't know football. You see the difference. It's crazy.
It's biased. Hey, coach, you know it. You know it's biased, right? You know it's biased. Look, I can tell you this, and I said this. My high school coach, the legendary coach here in Texas, Coach Johnnie, love him to death. But I'll say this, our public, all the time, when Prairie View, Texas Southern, Langston, when those schools came to look at his players, he may not even stepped out the office. But when Bobby Bowden and Tom Osborne and Brent Venables and Coach Drake, who was at UT, and all those guys would come out. Oh, he had packaged donuts. He had everything for those guys. So
it's so funny.
LaVelle Edwards, all those guys, man. That was from BYU. He come, hey man, he be shaking hands and it was just a different vibe when the black colleges came around the field house. It was a different vibe.
Let me say this, Rocky. You so true. It's true to Rocky. Let me say two things. Number one, Rocky, you sell cigars, right?
Yeah,
you're absolutely. A black man.
Yeah.
So should I go to the white man because your cigars ain't the same? Your cigars,
they come from the same place. They all come from Dominican Republic, Nicaragua.
Yes,
they all come from the same place. So
yes, sir. I want Rocky's cigars. I want Rocky's cigars because one, he gonna go get the best, and it don't matter what color he is. You know what I'm saying? So the white man's cigars ain't better than Rocky's cigars because he get them from Dominican Republic. Number one. Number two, it's so funny that you say that, Coach. When I used to recruit California, and I'm coming out to California, see, I used to have that suit on. I always had me a blazer on. Always have my championship ring on, and I'm clean. You know what the white coach is out in California? He a pimp. He cool. You know what I mean? And when I used to tell them I was from Texas Southern, Bishop, they thought I was saying I was from the University of Texas. So they would give me all my guys. So I was going out there so much that finally they figured out who I was. Man, he from an HBCU school. So they would put me in the room with all the guys that I'm taller than. So they don't know Coach Cole now. Coach Cole, I go at night with my certain tie. I'm going through dormitories. I'm finding out where these kids live at. Coach, I've competed with USC. I've competed with UCLA. I've competed with the University of Oregon. Coach, I had a coach from the University of Tennessee on a guy named Kevin Taylor and Cedric. His son played with the Dolphins now. Asked me, he said, Coach, can you get the transcript for me, man? Can you? I recruited against them, Coach, because I was clean. I'm not going to say I didn't look like I was from a black college, but Coach, it's the representation that we don't get from black. No. And we do a bad job at that. But you, Rocky, you had me thinking about them days of recruiting, man, and you are so right. Them high school coaches, man, will dog you out when you from an HBCU.
So, again, and it's unfortunate because a lot of our guys would go to BYU and Boise State and those colleges and wash out, not because of the football, not because of the academics, because of the cultural challenges that presented itself. And becoming from East Waco, Texas, anybody know about East Waco, you know that being at TSU, Prairie View, Jackson State, FAMU, it would be like being at home. Like when I went to FAMU, it was like being at home. I didn't have any problem with the environment and the excellence that was happening at that at the SWAC championship. I felt, I fit right in. And so there's a lot of kids that could benefit from that experience of being at an HBCU. And I know how it's transformed and benefited my daughter, my youngest daughter. And so I know that as a kid, there are a lot of kids that just can benefit from having that experience, being around their own people, doing amazing things, man. So,
hey, Rocky, can I just make one quick point because I know we got to go.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about almost a Wakanda moment. This is where the delusion of the FAMU fan base, and when you're black, and to Coach Cole's point, Coach, let me tell you what was interesting. So we're in the dome, right, and we won this game. If our AD had said, you know what, family, we want to raise $1 million, she would have raised $1 million that night. That's how euphoric we were, right? And then the next week, you saw all these recruits. Now, and no matter what they were doing, but you saw Willie getting all these recruits. And all of a sudden, you say, man, we about to go get these guys. We about to build this thing. So we feeling this Wakanda spirit going on. We're saying, we got guys from Florida State coming and Clemson coming. And then all of a sudden, you can kind of see this talent starting to move up, right? Because to beat these schools, you got to have talent. And you see these guys, and then all of a sudden, maybe one of these guys might say, you know what, let me just go to FAMU. And then when Willie said he was going to Duke, you just saw all that just say, because you were in that moment, we were all living in that, and like watching the Black Panther, we were hoping that Wakanda was real for a second. And that was the thing about it, which I think hurt people, because because FAMU is one of the few schools, because of Florida, because of the recruiting base, because some of the negativity that some of the southern states don't have, right? I'm not going to Alabama. I'm not going to Mississippi, right? But Florida and FAMU, you could see the potential of actually doing what Coach Prime said his mission was, changing the game, right? You saw that for like a hot week, and then you see this. So that's the thing I think a lot of FAMU people got excited and euphoric about, because literally if that AD had said, we need $1 million, she would have got $1 million. She would have got $1 million. I'm telling you what I know. So that's how excited we were.
I'm gonna leave with this, Mr. Bishop. If y'all had told that man, we're gonna give you $400,000 in 10 years, I guarantee you would have thought about that. I guarantee you. Because that's job security, Coach. That's job security. I know his goal is to coach Power 5, Coach, but I just, with a raise, a $25,000 raise for every winning season, Coach, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's just what I feel.
Hey, when Willie came on off script and talked about the historic victory of winning the Celebration Bowl and then tied it into winning the FCS National Championship in 1978, and then tied it into the following year in 79, beating the University of Miami, and then mentioned that Miami is on their schedule next year. I almost bought into it, Coach. I bought into shocking the world and was looking forward to seeing FAMU. Whether it happens or it doesn't, that's another thing. But you could, with what he was doing, building the talent base, you could see it as a possibility at some point. It wasn't just, pie in the sky. You saw steps being made toward being able to compete on that level. And that's what I think.
Right. We don't brought the Bishop on here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he been knowing Coach Simmons since he was 19. Now, we love you to death, Bishop, but damn, we need some Simmons on the dang show.
You know what? I will text Coach. I'm pretty sure that he's got, but I will do my best.
He gotta know me, Coach.
Yeah. I will text him and ask him to come on absolutely for you, Coach Cole, because I think what's really good is what Willie has done a great job, because you got younger guys that need to see you guys talk about the profession and what it takes to become a Coach Cole, to become a Coach Simmons. So absolutely, I just think that's just great for, like I say, the younger coaches to see this, because we don't have these avenues. And I want to say one quick thing, which I want to make two quick points. One, I saw somebody say that Manny Diaz is a minority. He's only a minority when he checks on the box, because he's a Cuban from South Florida, and them Cubans don't consider themselves no minority. So I'm telling you, I went to school for it, so I didn't want, let's set that foolishness up. second of all, the University of Michigan is going through the same thing. I saw Paul Feinbaum, and you know the people in Michigan, they have the same delusion. Jim Harbaugh's not going to leave us. He's going to stay at Michigan. So I can be just as delusional as the people from Michigan. So don't act like this is a black thing. So that is a fan base thing, because them people in Michigan do not believe that Jim Harbaugh is going to lead them. And we all know he's gone. But I'm telling you, so that is a fan in me. So don't act like this is just, oh, it's emotion. Fans are emotional. And when you win, you become emotional. And it was a good emotion. I want to clear that up like that was some negative thing that it wasn't. I'm a fan. I was excited. So don't act like it's just fam. You feeling like that. Michigan's feeling like that right now.
Hey, let me. This is the last question I'm gonna ask you, and then I'm gonna let Coach Cole take us out. In HBCU lore in history, 20, 30 years from now, and they look back at the Prime era and the Simmons era, which will be held in greater regard?
Well, I think they both did. I think they were. Well, let me say this. I think they both were great, because let me tell you what Deion did do. He jump-started the knowledge of HBCU football. He brought in, look at you. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Coach Prime.
You're right.
Look at Scotty. He wouldn't be here. So that was great. I was a fan. I was excited when Deion came to Jack State, because I knew with Jack State and Deion's personality, it was a match made in heaven. It was a match made in heaven, because you could put 50,000 people in there. You had the J-Sets, the Sonic Boom. You had a bunch of black folks in there. That is a great visual. Now, the second part of it, Willie did it the other way. So Willie said, I worked my way up. I worked hard. If you work hard and you do what you're supposed to do, then you get rewarded. So I think both of them I appreciate, because I think we could look at both of them and say, hey, you know what? If you got a Coach Prime personality, we got a home for you. If you got a Coach Simmons personality, we got a home for you.
So you think they equally will be held in high regard?
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I say, because I'm not going to talk about the way Deion went out. We know what that was. I'm talking about the impact that he made for those 2 years of bringing the exposure to the SWAC, to HBCUs, and what it could be, because it did help the recruiting. Because I'm telling you something, people, we weren't even, I'm telling you this, we weren't even talking to these kids. We weren't even Coach Cole knows this. It was a point where, I'm not going to call the guy. Prime was like, I'm not hard to find. So you know what? Guess what happened? Willie was like, I ain't hard to find either. Let me call him. So then you start seeing some of these kids coming through the transfer portal. Then you saw Hugh Jackson. Let me call this guy. You saw all these coaches. T.C. Taylor. Let me call these guys. They weren't doing, as somebody has followed HBCU. I've seen every great HBCU football player since the 1970s. Every great one. The way you got them was to get these guys that nobody knew about, and there were diamonds in the rough, and build them up, and they became Hall of Famers. But now, when you actually go and get a guy that's talented and like bring him in,
like Houston and those guys,
yeah. So that's what you get. So that's why I was excited. So now our recruiting. Now I'm gonna tell you something. And let me make this quick point. I remember HBCU people never talked about recruiting ever. They looked there and they said, we got some freshmen coming in. Now we care about who's coming on all the schools, like white people. That is a great thing for HBCU football. That is excellent, because now that you're getting scared, hey, we got this guy from Florida State. We got this guy from Clemson. We're getting this guy from Atlanta. That has been a long time coming. That is real football fans. That is real buy-in. Because if you start buying in on that level, guess what you start also doing? You start donating money to your schools, because you want your guys, you want your school to recruit these guys. You want them to have what they need. So that's what you see from a lot of these HBCU fan bases, that they're now putting money back into. Now, and we got a long way to go. And I'm not going to say it was perfect, but I'm telling you what I know 15, 20 years ago when it was totally dead, nobody was giving money to these programs.
All right, I appreciate it, Coach Cole. Coach Mr. Campbell, I appreciate you jumping on with us, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Coach Cole. Thank you for allowing me to come on.
This was only supposed to be 30 minutes, Mrs. Campbell, man, but you held on with us the entire time. This has been our longest show ever. Hey, I want to encourage everybody, if you're watching this on the Off Script channel, please go down in the description, click the link to my channel, and please become a subscriber, man. Not all of our content will always be simulcast or Off Script. To make sure you don't miss any of our interesting content, please make sure you click subscribe for us. We really appreciate it. But Coach Cole, it's on you.
What up,
Take us
man?
out.
Boy, we long-winded. And thank you, Mr. Campbell, and look forward to
Anytime, Coach. If you need me to come on, I'll be your co-pilot anytime. Just let me know.
Hey, man, you so knowledgeable, man. You know, and it gives me just chills to talk with somebody that can back up. You know, because when I'm talking, Coach, I'm talking from 40, 50 years back, man. You know, I'm just not up here talking. I studied black college, so I appreciate everything you've done. What's the last one? If we call them to say, add me to your consideration list. And remember, we are here if it don't work out for you. Who are you talking to?
Well, guys in the portal. So now he's making a point. So you got a 5-star guard that goes to Georgia, right? At least establish the relationship and the contact. So if it doesn't work out at Georgia, he said, well, you know what? I talked to Coach Campbell down at FAMU. He's a pretty good guy. Let me see what they're talking about. There's an opportunity. And that's what I think Edwin is talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
But look, man, we had a great time, Rock. Man, appreciate it. Look like they ain't gonna let us just get off, Rock. Look like we might just go to Tuesday till, you know.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're gonna be back next week, Coach. We'll be back next week.
Some of these bowl games.
Yeah.
You know, TxSo ain't hard to coach. Morehouse ain't hard to coach. Sangog ain't hard to coach. Mickey Joseph every Grambling, he's still scrambling. So shoot, man, we still got a lot to talk about.
And FAMU still don't have a coach either, Coach. So we got to talk about that.
Right.
Yeah. So Coach, I probably will be back.
Yeah, you definitely will be back.
They talking about Fred McNair down there.
Are they really?
Yeah. I hear Fred McNair might be headed to Florida A&M.
Listen, boy, there's no area code for Fred McNair. We don't take that phone call. We don't take 601 area code phone calls down there in Florida. That's not happening. That's not happening, Coach. That's not happening.
Hey,
well, let me ask you this, Mr.
Hey, Bishop, you know where to find me.
Hey,
now we will take it. We'll take a Texas area code, but we're not taking those 601 area code.
Mr. Campbell, who's gonna make that hire? Who's gonna make that hire? I just want to know who's gonna make that hire.
Listen, that's the thing. Now here's what's interesting. And I heard this, like, the AD going to make it? Are we going to have a committee? You know what I'm saying? That's what really is going to be interesting about this, because and Coach knows that if we have a committee, that's going to take a while, right? Because you got to get the people on the committee, you got to have the people. So that I'm really concerned about that, because this, and again, I respect our AD because she's our AD. But this is a big deal what she's got. And this is a lot of weight on her head, So you got to know what you're doing with this hire, because to your point, this either can set us up for the future or set us back to the past.
So let me ask you this, to Coach, he'll be right back since we got a couple minutes. Yeah. So who would you like to make the hire?
Well, this is the thing. The problem is not who I would like. The person in the chair is the one that got to make the hire. She's AD. So I can't make the hire. The president, our president is a nuclear physicist. That guy ain't no football guy. So he damn sure don't need to make the hire. So what I would like, I'm going to be honest with you, what I would love for her to do is to lean on Coach Simmons. Coach Simmons knows a lot of these guys that want this job, and to say, hey, Coach, who do you think can keep the torch going? And I think that should carry some weight. I think Coach Simmons should be in that room saying, you know what, this guy, I know him. This guy, I don't know. And this is what the pros and cons, because he knows the guys on the staff. He knows the people that actually want the job. You know what I mean? Because we're not going to get a guy from Idaho. This is going to be a Florida Central guy or somebody that's worked through the FAMU system. I'll be honest with you. So it's not that many guys anyway.
Right. I like that, to make sure.
Uncle Luke done put his name on somebody already. So.
Yeah. Coach Roll. Coach Roll is a living legend. A living legend down in South Florida.
Coach Roll?
Yes.
I know Coach Roll.
Yeah, Coach Roll. You got to understand, Coach Roll is one. You know how y'all have Friday Night Lights? Coach Roll was the black team that actually would beat the white team. That's how great Coach Roll was. Okay, so the black in his movie, the black team always won. That's how great Coach Roll was. And I'm talking about multiple.
He was like Freddie James in Dallas.
Bro, listen.
Dallas Carter. Freddie James.
Dallas Carter. Right. Yeah. So Coach Roll is a legend, and he took 3 high school teams at the highest level and won not only state championships, national championships, and things like that. So that's what's so great about him. So, again, when I saw Coach Rowe's name, I'm going to defer to my South Florida people because they grew up with him. They understand this. For me, I'm going to tell you something, Rocky. I think, and somebody brought this up, I think JB brought up, I'm going to use the University of Miami perspective. Leave the defense alone. Y'all do whatever you want. So get the offensive guy because the defense, we in Florida, we just got dark-skinned guys that can run 4-4. We good on that.
All right, take us out, Coach Cole.
Man, it's been good, man. And, life has its changes. We just started a new year, and some people make their New Year's resolution as don't make it all in one night. Make it as you go. You got a whole month of January to make your New Year's resolution. Don't make it and do something that you can reach, and instead of just going crazy. 1 or 2 is good enough, But at the end of the day, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, you tie a knot and hold on tight because ain't nobody bad like you.